stream, including the most recent computer model runs, kind of give you an idea of how much snow you might see out of the system, how cold it'll get in some of these areas, and a lot more in this live stream. It's going to be a packed live stream, actually a lot more than last night. So expect about a 30-minute forecast here, going over specific details, and we'll also go into a Q&A session. So if you have questions during this live stream, you can feel free to ask them. I'm actually going to open up a little Q&A thing in a little bit, so you can ask questions there, and I will answer some of them after I'm done with this entire specific forecast. All right, let's first begin with what's happening across the United States this evening, and it is getting pretty messy out there. We do have this trough that is now beginning to organize itself over the central plains, and this is what's going to bring all that snow. Obviously, the Arctic blast that is coming out of Canada, that is already being felt in some areas in the central plains, and as well as it even into the northern plains, and Minnesota is about to start feeling the very cold weather that is behind that cold front and as well as that trough. So again, it's going to get really cold over the next 24 to 48 hours for a large chunk of the country. A bit further to the south and east, we do have a little bit of precipitation down this direction. Not really much of anything though, just a couple of passing showers at best. For the most part though, it's a bit drier the further south you go. Now it is a complete mess across the United States in terms of watches and warnings. All these boxes indicate a different type of watch or warning. This does not include hard freeze warnings or watches, by the way, as well, which there are some ongoing actually back over into North Texas and Louisiana. So again, it's messy out there. We have a lot of watches and warnings. Let's go over some of the important ones right now, which are the blizzard warnings. Those are your red boxes. We have several different locations included in those blizzard warnings right now. So main locations are going to be in South Dakota back through southwest North Dakota, as well as eastern Montana. We also have blizzard warnings in effect for those in central and southern portions of Minnesota, and as well as into central, northern, and eastern Iowa. That is again for the potential for blizzard-like conditions over the upcoming 24 to 36 hours. There are also blizzard warnings ongoing back into the upper Michigan Peninsula and back through western and northern Michigan, and that's all ahead of, again, a lot of snowfall, especially in this region here. I'd expect the most significant snowfall to fall here, and obviously very high wind gusts will lead to really hazardous travel across those areas. We also have winter storm warnings ongoing. That is also a very large area. This is, again, one of these, classic setups almost that we don't really see that often, but it is a very defined setup with this trough that is, again, going to bring a lot of snowfall, and not just that, but the high winds are going to make it even messier out there, especially on the roadways. But winter storm warnings ongoing through Minnesota back into Kansas, not extended into Oklahoma, by the way. So we're really, I'm not sure the exact state count here. I think it's around 8 or 9 states that are included in winter storm warnings with this trough specifically. But back over here again, Minnesota into Nebraska, as well as eastern Kansas, all the way back through actually northwest Pennsylvania near Erie. So those areas are all included right now in winter storm warnings. There are winter weather advisories ongoing in these purple boxes. That is a large area. I mean, it's even larger than everything else here. Goes all the way down actually into northern Mississippi, by the way. So again, large scale system that we're watching here. Also goes into eastern and northern portions of Oklahoma, and it goes all the way back through Ohio. So those are our watches and warnings right now ongoing. Bit of a more specific look here, just for those that are wondering, am I under a blizzard warning, a winter storm warning, that sort of thing. This is a closer look at things. You can take a screenshot, kind of figure out where your county is here, but for the most part, areas like Chicago, for example, in that winter storm warning, Green Bay as well in a winter storm warning, Kalamazoo back over in Michigan right now included a blizzard warning. In Minneapolis, the Twin Cities are on the cusp right now of a blizzard warning, but they're currently in that winter storm warning as of now. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the watches and warnings right now. We'll go over a broad look real quick, the broad spectrum of things with this trough first. Then we'll go over to more specifics, which we have a lot of specific details to get into here. But this is a general look at this trough here over the next 24 hours. This is by Thursday afternoon. We'll have that trough really start to strengthen over the Great Lakes. And not just that, winds are going to be very high. These isobars that are very close together, that is representing very high wind speeds behind, really just behind this trough. So be ready. High wind gusts are expected tomorrow. If you have any loose lawn items like Christmas decorations or any sort of stuff like that, plants, make sure you bring those inside because they will be very windy tomorrow without a doubt. And if you have those like blow up doll things, whatever you call them, like those little Christmas things, make sure you deflate those and bring them inside because again, those will probably go flying tomorrow with how windy it'll be, especially from the Midwest all the way back through the southern plains. But other than that, again, snow will really start to ramp up across the the Midwest all the way back down through Missouri and potentially even northeast Oklahoma going into Thursday afternoon. By Thursday evening, really a lot more of the moderate to heavy snow begins to fall across areas from Kentucky and Tennessee all the way back through Michigan, and eventually going through Friday morning, a lot of that snow action shifts off to the north and east. Might see some snowfall there in New York and possibly into New England, but it shouldn't be anything too significant, at least for New England. There will be lake effect snow going all the way through Saturday and Sunday as well for anywhere really near Lake Erie, Lake Michigan. That'll create the potential for some lake effect snow near West Michigan, as well as even into New York. Again, more specific details coming up here in just a moment. Let's take you time hour by hour here back over in Minnesota. A lot of the snow action that is on or has happened already today in Minnesota has already fallen. We're not going to see much more tonight. It's going to be primarily just light snow to flurries for the rest of this evening. By the overnight hours, 3 a.m. tomorrow, all of that snow action is already going to be outside, most likely of Minnesota. Maybe just a couple of light snow showers remaining. By tomorrow morning, again, Minnesota will not have much snow at all left by tomorrow. Might still have a few flurries or maybe a little bit of light snow back over in the upper Michigan Peninsula and Wisconsin. But other than that, it'll start winding down. This is the snow that we've already seen in some areas back over in Minnesota, and this is also what is to come for the rest of the night tonight. Again, we've seen somewhere between about 4 to 10 inches anywhere near Minneapolis and St. Cloud. This will create the potential for blizzard-like conditions, so be ready for this. Again, this is definitely going to be a very hazardous day tomorrow and Friday with how high the winds will get, and this is the big concern, is those wind gusts in Minnesota. That's why there are blizzard warnings in effect. By tomorrow afternoon, wind gusts really ramp up between 30 to 45 miles per hour, could even exceed 50 miles per hour during the late evening Thursday and the Friday morning. So again, going by hour by about midnight going to Friday morning. Again, winds will really start to peak, especially in southern Minnesota. It's not really on your screen here. Let me shift this down just a little bit. There we go. So yeah, again, areas like Rochester as well as south of Minneapolis probably going to start getting upwards of 45 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, and eventually going closer to about 5, 6 in the morning. We'll still have wind gusts really peaking. Even back over near Dula, for example, we'll have wind gusts potentially upwards of 55 to 65 miles per hour right along the lakes region. But other than that, going into Friday afternoon, winds will still continue to be really high. And again, this is what's going to cause the potential for really blizzard-like conditions. We'll have drifting with the snow. Even though it's not going to be snowing, the drifting is really the big concern going into Thursday night into Friday especially. Also, a little look from the National Weather Service. They did post this little graphic of wind chills over the next 72 hours. Basically the coldest forecasted wind chill is going to be potentially as low as negative 45 degrees back over in southwest portions of Minnesota, back near the Twin Cities, closer to around 35 below zero. But other than that, again, very, very cold. Make sure you limit outdoor time because frostbite can happen very quickly in these sort of conditions. And they also posted, again, I showed this last night, no really big changes to this. Again, if you're traveling over in the Twin Cities region, it was recommended that you left today and not anytime later if you had any plans to go see family for Christmas, because again, extreme impacts, or at least significant impacts, are expected from now all the way through Friday at least, potentially even into Saturday morning. So it's going to be very, very hazardous out there for the next several days. Now let's shift our focus a bit further off to the east and start talking about the Midwest, areas like Illinois, Indiana. These areas are really under the gun for the potential for a lot more snow than areas like Minnesota. These areas, not really Illinois or Indiana, but like Michigan, for example, could see upwards of 1 to 2 feet of snow. So this is an area that there's gonna be a bit more of a hot spot, if you will. So going into this evening, into the overnight hours, we'll have some snow already. It has actually begun near Davenport and Cedar Rapids. More snow, though, will start to kind of move off to the east and move into areas like Rockford as well as Peoria, and eventually towards Springfield by tomorrow morning in Illinois. Eventually closer to lunchtime, moderate snow likely going to start to ramp up areas in western Illinois, and eventually by the afternoon hours, snow will start to roll into areas like Chicago, Gary, all the way back through Champaign, and this is going to create the potential for a few snow squalls, which that basically means heavy snow is going to reduce visibility down to potentially as low as half or a quarter of a mile. So make sure you're taking it very slow on the roadways tomorrow, especially with how slippery it might get. By Thursday evening, closer to the rush hour commute or just after that, we'll have a lot more of that snow action move into areas like Bloomington and Indianapolis. Again, this will still primarily be rain in eastern Indiana right around 6 o'clock. It will transition, though. You're not going to just see rain this entire event. You will see a little bit of snow out of this because eventually by 9 o'clock, this trough moves a bit further off to the east. That'll create the potential for more of that moderate snow near areas like Fort Wayne, as well as going closer to Dayton, Ohio. And eventually by midnight, snow is rolling out of most of Illinois, maybe a little bit of some snowflakes near Chicago, but nothing too significant in terms of accumulation. And eventually going into Friday morning, closer to about 12 o'clock or so, will primarily start to dry out across those two states. In terms of snowfall accumulation right now, really not that significant, I would say. We're still talking about a decent, though, 3 to 6 inches probably across most of Illinois. Near Chicago, for example, might get upwards of 4 to 6 inches potentially. Back near Davenport, probably going to be in that 3 to 6 inch range as well. And then over in Indiana, Fort Wayne and as well as Lafayette, probably going to be somewhere between the 3 to 6 as well. And then further to the south near Indianapolis and Bloomington, I would say about 2 to 4 inches is realistic at this time. Again, you might see a little bit more, might see a little bit less, but that's a good estimate for you as of right now. Back over into southwest Michigan, we're still talking about some significant snowfall back over that direction, with the potential for upwards of maybe a foot or a little bit more of snowfall. So again, there will be definitely a lot of snow out there back over in southwest Michigan. Again, Portage, for example, near 14 inches of snow. So that's gonna be a lot of snow for sure. But again, just a little range there, probably between about 10 to 16. All right, overall, this is another graphic as well from Chicago. And again, we'll go back to the forecast graphics here in a second. But this is kind of the general gist of what they're forecasting. So near Chicago in that 4 to 6 range, 3 to 5 inches just on the outskirts and the suburbs of Chicago. So areas just to the south and west there of Chicago, maybe between 3 to 5 inches, 2 to 4 inches across the rest of the state. So kind of what I've been saying, probably a good 3 to 6 inches across most of Illinois. Some areas maybe an inch or two less, and then some areas again a couple inches more is definitely possible. So that's a little forecast graphic for you from there. And also this is what, again, from yesterday I showed you the Chicago timeline in terms of the really how much snow they're going to see, and as well as the travel impacts. Again, you should have left tonight if you have any plans to travel to see family or friends for Christmas. You should have already left if you're in Chicago, especially since, again, Wednesday night is going to be fine in terms of weather impacts, which is tonight. By tomorrow, though, we're going to start getting closer to the moderate to major impacts, and eventually it's likely going to be pretty significant in terms of the hazardous travel that we'll have there in Chicago, going all the way through Thursday night, all the way through Friday night, potentially as late as Saturday morning is when we'll probably still have some impacts out there. So again, make sure you're traveling now and not later, because again, earlier is better than later in this sort of scenario, unless you have plans like Sunday or Monday. You can wait, obviously. All right, let's go closer to the timeline. Broad spectrum of things. Again, this is what's ongoing going to tomorrow morning. So during the early morning hours, snow will really ramp up again tomorrow afternoon as that trough strengthens. Here's your dividing line. We'll get more specific here in just a second, but eastern Michigan primarily going to start out as rain most of Thursday. Transition to snow is expected during the late evening hours Thursday into Friday morning, and it'll eventually be a lot more snow during Friday morning. And then again, lake effect snow will really start to ramp up going into Saturday, which is going to create the potential for a lot more snowfall there in areas like Michigan. All right. Let's get a bit more specific here in Michigan. This is the state that's probably going to see the most of the snow out of this entire event, really beginning with areas near like Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, all the way back through Traverse City. Those areas will probably have the best potential, at least for some very heavy snow. So tonight we're going to start to have a few showers, maybe a couple of moderate snow showers begin, especially off to the west near Lake Michigan, back near Green Bay, for example. A couple of those areas might start to see a little bit more of that light to moderate snow as early as the next couple of hours. By about 6 a.m. tomorrow, so if you're waking up, you have plans to go to school or work, it shouldn't be too bad out there in the morning. Only a couple of passing snow showers. It really does begin to ramp up, though, during the mid to late afternoon. So if you have, if there's school or anything like that ongoing here in Michigan, you should be fine for the first half of the day. The second half of the day is where it starts to get a little bit more messy. So by about 3 o'clock Thursday, a little bit more of that light to moderate snow action starts to move in off of Lake Michigan. So right here, here's your Lake Michigan area. Some snow showers will start to move off into areas like western Michigan. So areas like Grand Rapids as well as Kalamazoo will start to have some light to moderate snow. Shouldn't cause too many travel impacts early in the day again, but they will start to get much worse as we get closer to about sunset. So by 5 to 6 o'clock, the action really ramps up, and it ramps up very quickly. So areas like Traverse City as well as near Mount Pleasant will start to begin to have more of that moderate to potentially some heavy snow. Could maybe even bring some of those snow squalls as well that could very well limit visibility down as low as half a mile to even a quarter of a mile. By 7 to 8 o'clock, a lot more of that snow action really ramps up over central Michigan and northern Michigan, and also back near Grand Rapids. Still going to have a lot of that light to moderate snow action ongoing. Can't rule out some heavy snow at times. And then over in eastern Michigan, another area that hasn't been talked about too much, but near Saginaw and Flint, Detroit, and all the way back through Sarnia, those areas are probably going to start out as just rain. For the most part on Thursday, it'll be just rain. There will be a transition, though, to snow. So areas like Saginaw probably will transition over to snow snow around 10 to 11 o'clock. Same with Flint. So here's 10, 11 o'clock. Lansing as well as Jackson transitioning probably right around the 6 to 8 o'clock hours. Tomorrow also going closer to about 11 to 12 o'clock. Flint and as well as Detroit will start to transition more into a snow rather than rain. There might be a bit of a mix there at the beginning, so it might make it a little bit slushy, but eventually it'll transition more into a snow event. By the overnight hours, all of Michigan should be back into just snow. There shouldn't be much rain remaining. That was a weird little phrase there. Back near Sarnia, there might be still a little bit more of that mixture, but it should be primarily snow by about 3 to 4 a.m. Friday morning, and eventually closer to the morning hours when you wake up on Friday morning. Still a lot of light snow out there, at least in southern portions and as well as western portions of Michigan. Back over to the north and east, there will definitely be a potential for still some moderate to maybe a couple of areas of heavy snow Friday morning. Eventually closer to lunchtime on Friday, we're still talking about light to at least a little bit of moderate snow still remaining. This will not really end anytime soon. It's going to really go on all day Friday for the most part, at least some sort of light snow across the state. It'll become more scattered in nature by Friday evening, and eventually going to Saturday morning, some lake effect snow is possible off of Lake Michigan, but eventually we'll start to have a bit more clearer conditions probably by late Saturday into Sunday morning. So that's the time frame there in Michigan. Snowfall totals, big question there. Obviously a lot of people are wondering about that. This is the latest computer model run from the NAM model, which I've been pretty certain with for a while now. It's been pretty consistent in terms of snowfall totals. And this is a general estimate. Again, I don't know if we'll see 2 feet of snow, for example, in Traverse City. It's possible, but I wouldn't really put a bunch of, I wouldn't really put your hopes up on it. I would at least expect, though, probably about 1 foot of snow. Very well could get a little bit higher than that. Back over just east of there as well, near the interstate, very well could potentially get upwards of about 2 to 3 feet as well. Possible. Again, not certain by any means, but a good 1 to 2 feet is expected in western Michigan. Again, there is a possibility, though, for a little bit more than just 1 foot of snow across the western portions of Michigan. Back over in central Michigan, Mount Pleasant, Saginaw, Flint, Lansing, as well as Jackson. Probably going to see somewhere between about 5 to about 9 inches of snow. Possibility for a couple inches more, or maybe even an inch less in those areas is definitely not out of the question. Back up in northeastern Michigan, by the way, haven't really mentioned this area, but up back near Alpena, that area will probably see somewhere between about 4 to 8 inches of snow as well. Back over in eastern Michigan, areas like Detroit and Sarnia, right along the Great Lakes region near Lake Erie, those areas will probably see somewhere probably between, I would kind of give you a general estimate, somewhere between about 2 to 6 inches. And that would be primarily, the lower amounts will probably be in southern and southeastern portions of Michigan. Back over near Sarnia, probably closer to around 4 to 6 inches in that region. And winds are going to play a big part in this. Again, blizzard-like conditions are expected. There is a reason why there are blizzard warnings. It is because of the high wind gusts that we're probably going to see going into Friday morning. Again, these winds will start to really ramp up Friday morning, upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour. This will cause drifting, blowing snow as possible. Since there will still be snow ongoing in Michigan, this will create the potential for blowing snow going into Friday morning. By the way, wind gusts on Lake Erie could go upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. That is absolutely insane. So it's going to get really windy off Lake Erie for sure. Eventually going to Friday afternoon, we're still talking about most of Michigan being in the potential for upwards of 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts across almost the entire state. So it'll be a very windy Friday afternoon and evening, and that will really continue all the way probably through at least early Saturday. Also, snowfall totals, I already mentioned this before, but here is another estimate of snowfall totals across these 2 states in Illinois and Indiana. Again, good chunk of the state will probably see between 2 to 4 inches. Back near Chicago, again, I already mentioned this, I'm kind of expecting a little bit more than 2 inches or 3 inches of snow. Probably going to be closer to 5 to 6 inches is my guess right now. But again, kind of give or take a couple inches there. But near Chicago, Gary, and Arlington Heights, probably going to be a little bit higher there, maybe closer to about 4 to 6 inches. Chicago, probably closer to 5 to 6, though. All right, let's go to Ohio, another state that we haven't really talked about too much. Actually, didn't really talk about this at all yesterday. I should have added it into yesterday's live stream. But going to Thursday, again, mainly rain in Ohio. There's really no reason to cancel school if you're in an area like Cleveland, for example. Winds will start to pick up, most likely going to Friday as well. So the biggest impacts in Ohio will most likely be late Thursday night into Friday, and eventually by 10 to 11 o'clock, this is when the trough starts to move into areas near Ohio and Michigan. And we'll start to have that dividing line here of rain and snow across the state. So western Ohio will begin to have some snow out there by as early as 11 to 12 o'clock tomorrow night. So just west of Dayton as well as Troy. By about 12 to 1 o'clock, this line, again, the mixture line here right near Delaware and Columbus, will still continue to march its way off to the east. So again, primarily rain still ongoing for Columbus, Mansfield, as well as areas like Lancaster right around 1 to 2 a.m. A lot more of that snow action back over in western Ohio. So Dayton, Troy, as well as areas like Bowling Green and Toledo. We'll start to see a bit more snow action by then. By 3 to 4 a.m., we're going to have a really quick transition from rain to snow back over in areas like Cleveland, as well as Canton, and as well as Columbus, really during the overnight hours, and eventually going into Friday morning. Still some light snow remaining. The heaviest of snow should fall overnight, but some light to maybe moderate snow will still remain by Friday morning into the late morning hours. By the early afternoon hours, we might still have a little bit of snow still falling back near areas like Cleveland and Meadville, but other than that, it shouldn't be anything too significant. However, winds will really start to pick up, so blowing snow does become a factor, which does reduce visibility out on the roadway. So again, I recommend that you do avoid travel at all costs unless it's an emergency. Eventually by Friday evening into Saturday morning, still a couple of snow showers maybe near Cleveland due to some lake effect snow. Shouldn't be anything too significant though again by then. All right, snowfall totals across the state. This is another general estimate here of what you might be able to see out there. It is kind of spotty here, and you might notice this. A lot of these areas in between, you can see here, for example, west of Columbus, showing around 2 inches of snow, and then all of a sudden it shows this big pocket here of about 5 to 6 inches. I wouldn't put your hopes up here on a, this sort of situation where we have like actual weird little divides here. This is probably not going to happen. I would expect the heaviest snowfall though. If there were to be a really heavy band of snow, we could see upwards of 4 to 6 inches in some spots. But again, don't get your heart set on these totals. They could be a little bit different from this. I would expect though across most of the state to be somewhere between at least 2 to 4 inches. Some areas could very well get upwards of 4 to 6 inches, with maybe an isolated location being near 7 or 8 inches of snow. And that would probably be somewhere there in central Ohio, or maybe even into central northern Ohio. So maybe near Mansfield, we'll probably have a little bit better of a chance of some of the heavier snow. Now, a big concern with all of this, and it's not just the snow, but it will be the frigid and absolutely blustery conditions that we're going to be seeing as early as tomorrow morning. Areas in Minnesota are already beginning to see this. By tomorrow morning, areas in eastern South Dakota could be feeling like 50 below zero. It's going to be frigid out there. So again, make sure you avoid outdoor time at all costs, if at all possible, because it will be very cold out there. Make sure you bundle up if you do have any plans of going outdoors, or if you work outdoors, because the highest and the warmest it'll get there in eastern South Dakota, for example, wind chills at 40 degrees below zero. It's not going to warm up really at all on Thursday, and it really won't on Friday either. Back over in the Midwest, we'll begin to have wind chills dropping across areas in Wisconsin, Illinois, and eventually into western Indiana by tomorrow evening around rush hour, and eventually going to the overnight hours into Friday morning. Wind chills will be down 30 to 35 degrees below zero in areas like Chicago, Iowa, and as well as Minnesota will also be in that same range. And even going through the day, Friday into Saturday morning, it will continue to be very, very cold across really the entire Midwest. So again, make sure you avoid outdoor time if at all possible. A bit more of a specific look here across the states as well. It gives you a better idea of the, again, the wind chills going into Thursday and Friday. Again, wind chills will drop quickly. You can see Chicago Thursday at 2 p.m. at 26 degrees. By 5 p.m., it'll be down to -2 degrees for a wind chill, eventually dropping to -14, -25. It might even get as cold as -35 degrees there in Chicago for a wind chill right around Friday morning. So again, it's going to get very cold out there across the entire Midwest. Again, by Friday afternoon, it will be frigid. Again, avoid outdoors time at all possible. Also going to the northern plains, another area that's going to be very cold is Montana and Wyoming. Wind chills could drop down to 70 degrees below zero. It is possible for those areas as well, primarily near the mountainous regions, to get as cold as 75 degrees below zero. So it's going to be very cold out that direction. Even the Dakota is going to be as low as 55 to 60 degrees below zero as well tomorrow morning. And it really will continue all the way through Friday morning. Won't be nearly as bad in Wyoming, for example. It will only be in the 30, I say only, but 30 to 40 degrees below zero isn't as bad as 75 degrees below zero by Friday morning. And wind chills will continue throughout the northern plains to be below zero for really the upcoming weekend and as well as for Christmas. And a little bit of a closer look back over in Wyoming as well in terms of the wind chills. Again, back near the mountainous regions, so just west of the interstate, northwest of Casper, still talking about the wind chills being as low as potentially 70 degrees below zero. Near Gillette, 55 degrees below zero there. It's going to be, again, very cold in Wyoming all the way through Thursday into Friday. Again, it's going to be very cold. Make sure you bundle up if you have any plans to go outdoors. Also into the southern plains, massive difference in the temperatures across Oklahoma. We'll have wind chills dropping into the 20s below zero, and eventually even into Texas. Look at Houston, by the way, down in this direction. 60 to 65 degrees for a feels-like temperature right around the early afternoon hours. It'll eventually drop down into the teens and single digits really only a few hours later. So there's going to be a massive temperature difference in some areas of Texas, and even down areas in southern Texas. It's going to get very cold there as well, in the 60s for feel like temperatures during the afternoon. It'll drop down into the 20s and teens down that far south as well, and these wind chills will continue all the way through Saturday morning, so it'll be very cold there for sure. And even into the southeast, this is another area where a lot of cold air is coming as well. Back into areas like Missouri, we'll feel the cold air as early as Thursday night. Right around sunset is when that cold front will start to roll through those areas. Wind chills again going to get very, very frigid, and eventually even going into Florida. By the way, Florida will be cold going into Saturday morning. Some areas near like Panama City, for example, in Florida could get into the single digits for feels like temperatures, which is the coldest that we've seen, by the way, in decades in Florida. So falling iguanodons alert, by the way, in Florida, because how cold it'll get. There might be some falling iguanodons out there, so they might be falling from the trees. Just a little heads up if you're in Florida, and that does include anywhere that gets below freezing, which is going to be pretty large area of Florida. This is a closer look at things, by the way, for Saturday morning. So Panama City, again, right around 10 degrees for it feels like temperature. Tallahassee, again, give or take a couple degrees there. Even Orlando, if you're in the theme parks region, right around 20 degrees, or 20 degrees, not below zero, but 20 degrees flat out there for it feels like temperature. And even Miami, 41 degrees. That is pretty cold again for Florida standards. That's not normal by any means. Going into the mid-Atlantic regions as well, wind chills will really start to drop going into Friday morning, most likely. So the overnight hours, Thursday night into Friday morning, this cold air will really start to usher in out of the west, and this will create the potential for very, very cold conditions. Again, not as bad as areas like the Midwest and as well as the northern plains, but it will still be pretty cold out there. Eventually going into Saturday morning as well, wind chills will drop across New England as well, potentially getting below zero in some spots there. Even the Carolinas, by the way, some of those areas into the single digits, and as well as the negatives in, again, for the wind chills. So it'll be very cold out there. A little bit of a closer look at things. Again, we'll have that cold front moving through Friday morning. Roanoke as well as Harrisonburg going to start out Friday morning maybe feeling like 30 degrees or so. It won't feel like that for long though. By Friday around lunchtime, those areas will feel about 10 degrees below zero, and it will continue through the entire day Friday. So again, if you have little kids that are going out to school and whatnot, make sure they're bundled up, especially for Friday over here in the mid-Atlantic regions, because again, it's going to be very cold out there, and it will be blustery for sure. Wind is definitely not something that's going to help these temperatures by any means. All right, going into the Northeast real quick, I haven't really mentioned this yet, but there's a possibility for a little bit of snow over the upcoming 24 to 48 hours. A lot of rain as well. There might be even some snow on the back end of this trough going to Friday afternoon across New York. Shouldn't really reach New England, maybe clipping northwest Connecticut or western Massachusetts, but other than that, it shouldn't be much of anything, just a little bit of light snow accumulation, if at all, across those states. And this is the general estimate right now in terms of snow going through at least Friday morning before that second round of snow may come, and that might bring an additional inch or two to areas across New York, and again, even potentially northwest of Albany could very well get upwards of maybe half a foot to a foot of snow, so a little bit of snow there as well. Wind gusts are going to be very high as well in New England. It will be very windy. This could cause the potential for a lot of power outages, and I would expect the greatest power outage concern to be right along the coastline here of New England. This is the region that has the best chance of power outages going into Friday, and as well, actually as early as Thursday night, but going through Friday, there will be a pretty good chance there of some power outages, at least a moderate chance of that, and as well as even some scattered power outages inland as well, because the wind gusts could go upwards of 70 to possibly as high as 80 miles per hour. These winds will be coming off the coast, and a big thing to note with this trough, it'll be up here by that time, this trough is going to be right around 960 to 965 millibars, which is basically like a bomb cyclone that's going to be developing here. What this essentially means, 960 millibars, you may think this sounds kind of like a category 3 type hurricane with those sort of millibars. It pretty much is. I mean, it's not going to bring the winds out of a category 3 hurricane, but since this is on the further northern hemisphere here, it's going to at least bring some winds upwards of 70 to 80 miles per hour, especially along the coastline here of Maine. Could very well get very windy there. Again, not normal, but this is definitely something that is, again, a bit more uncommon for this time of the year, especially. But wind gusts could very well get upwards of 70 to 80 miles per hour. Bit more of a specific look at things. Again, highest wind gusts will be right along the coastline near Portland, for example, getting close to 70 to 75 miles per hour by 10 a.m. Friday. It will continue throughout the day. It will shift a bit further off to the east, could get upwards of 80 miles per hour right on the immediate coastline during the afternoon Friday as well, and then winds will start to drop a little bit going into Saturday, a bit more closer to the 20s and 30s for wind gusts, so not nearly as bad then. So again, a lot of stuff to talk about there, but that is a lot of what we're talking about this week in terms of snowfall and whatnot, and what to expect. And also back over to here real quick, again, this is your trough, and this is what I was kind of talking about. Bomb cyclone, it's basically dropping a millibar every hour with this system, which kind of classifies it as a bomb cyclone. And this is the millibars. 964 is currently being estimated on the European model for this low pressure system. Very intense low pressure system. And I mean, if you kind of look back to something like Hurricane Ian, it wasn't 964. It's a bit lower than that, but I mean, this isn't too far off from that. Again, it's further off to the north, so winds naturally won't be as high, and this isn't over water either, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. Winds will be upwards of potentially 60 to 80 miles per hour there in New England, so it will be very, very messy for sure across New England. So yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about in terms of snow, rain, and obviously there's actually some flash flood watches, by the way, in effect over there as well into New England. So again, it's gonna be very active up that direction as well. Alrighty, let me get some questions, and also I'll be posting a little thing in the chat that'll let you ask questions as well, so make sure to click on that and ask questions there, because that'll make it easier for everybody. The chat's probably gonna be kind of spammed here. Ask me weather questions. All right, so yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. We'll be going over some other stuff here in just a second as well. I'm gonna catch a quick breather because I've been talking for the last 30 minutes. That was, again, I actually said at the beginning of this, it'll be a 30-minute forecast. It sure has. Yeah, I heard that, Karen. Yeah, Portland, Oregon is supposed to get pounded too. I haven't really shown that because the big event is really happening across the the eastern half of the country, but there's another event going on over on the west coast of the United States that I really need to talk about. It's just the problem is this is such a large scale event that honestly it's so hard to fit more things into these forecasts. I had a video forecast today that was 8 minutes. I was only able to fit in maybe a fourth of what I just showed you in that 8-minute forecast, and I don't try to make forecasts over 8 minutes because it's kind of just it gets anything over 8 minutes is kind of a bit more like kind of, I don't know, it's too much, I would say. So I try to avoid forecasts over 8 minutes because again it gets too elongated. Yeah, that's why I do these live streams. If there's anything that I need that has to be over 8 minutes, I'll typically do these little discussions. Hey Sam, how you doing? Also, by the way, if you're new here, make sure to hit the like button down below so this gets out to more people. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We are very close to 28,000 subscribers. In fact, we're only 26 away. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. By the way, I do appreciate everybody watching today's video. It is the most viewed channel, the most viewed video I've ever had in channel history. I do appreciate everybody watching that video. That's insane. 27,000 views now. That is unbelievable. I've never had that happen before. I appreciate everybody supporting the page as always. It really does mean a lot. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Thanks, Julie. I appreciate it. Iguana. Sorry, I meant to say. I meant to say iguana. Actually, I said that in my video today. I said iguanodon. I'm thinking of the dinosaur ride at Disney World for some reason. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. I'll never stream from class. If I ever stream from class, that'd be kind of crazy. By the way, yeah, falling iguanas are possible in Florida, not iguanodons. We're not talking about dinosaurs in Florida. My bad. I actually kind of. I don't know how I said that. All right, let's go back over to Florida real quick, wherever it is. Yeah, so again, if you're in Florida, there's a possibility for some falling iguanas. That's due to the fact iguanas typically fall out of trees with temperatures below 32 degrees. That's why they live in Florida. It's because there's warmer weather here. We typically don't see temperatures below 32 degrees, so there might be some falling iguanas here over in Florida. So little heads up there. Lansing Mystic will probably be somewhere between about 6 to maybe 8 inches of snow. Let me go back over to that graphic. Wherever it might be. There we go. So this is the current estimated snowfall totals. This is kind of what I'm going with right now. I wouldn't say feet. You might get up to a foot, but I wouldn't say multiple feet. Thanks, Tracy. Hey, Eli, how you doing? Welcome back. Chicago will probably be somewhere between about 4 to 6 inches of snow. That's my current estimate. Again, we have much more specific details now. I'm kind of feeling a bit more confident about today in comparison to last night's live stream. I do have much more confidence in what we're going to expect here across these states for sure. In terms of snowfall totals and all that sort of jazz. So I am expecting. By the way, this is my latest live stream that I've actually ever done. In terms of the start time, we started this at like 11:30, all because of internet issues, which is always fun. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. I'm kind of curious if anybody's actually been hit by a falling iguana before in Florida. I'm guessing somebody probably has, but any snow for Longview, Texas? I wouldn't expect anything. Real quick on Texas, if you go over to my Facebook page for more details on that, I'll bring it up here real quick. If I can find it anywhere, I'll just take off this Minnesota real quick. So if you're over in North Texas, just a real quick little breakdown. Again, there's a lot of snow coming, by the way. Just look at this. This is Texas standards. A couple of little snow flurries out there near the Red River tomorrow morning. Not much, though. If you see anything, couple of snowflakes. That's about it. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything that crazy. It's going to be pretty minimal. It won't be much of anything. It's going to be mostly just cold air here. Look at the wind chills. This is a really sharp divide here in North Texas. This is kind of insane. Dallas waking up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, 38. It'll drop down to 9 degrees by 11 in terms of the wind chill. It'll eventually be in the negatives probably during the afternoon hours. This is a little bit underestimated for the wind speed, so it should be a bit lower than this by about 5 to 10 degrees on the wind chills. But yeah, it'll be cold there. The biggest thing is the cold weather there in Texas for sure. That really goes for a lot of areas. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting right now. Let's go back over to Michigan real quick. Charleston, South Carolina, no snow there. Let me go over to the Q&A. By the way, if you have any questions, use the Q&A tab. I'll answer questions more on that than the regular chat, because it just makes things a bit more organized here. Here in Denver, we have a wind chill of 21 degrees below zero. Wow, that's insane. You know, the coldest wind chill I've ever been in was probably about 40 degrees below zero. Maybe 50 degrees below zero. It's frigid. Most recently, in the last 5 years, I think the coldest wind chill I've been in is maybe 0 degrees. That's maybe. Oh. I haven't experienced too bad of the cold weather recently, at least. You think it will be really this much snow in Green Bay? I wouldn't put your heart set on 14 inches almost of snow in Green Bay. Again, it's a computer model run. I would at least estimate, though, a good 6 to about 10 inches, maybe upwards of 12. It's not impossible to see maybe just over a foot of snow, but I'd probably kind of lean myself a bit more closer to that 6 to 10 inch range there. Possibly slightly more, though. It's not out of the question. Buffalo, New York. I actually forgot to add that in this live stream, but man, I have so many tabs open. Let me just do this real quick. You guys want to see the behind the scenes here? This is all of the different, I'll kind of drag it, or if I can, let me see. Look at the top of your screen. That is all the tabs I have open right now for weather graphics. And I counted before the stream. I had about 55. I had to cut out some because there was just too much. But yeah, there's a lot of tabs on here. So let me pull up New York real quick. We'll pull up a couple of New York slides because I haven't really done that. All right, let's go over to the New York area, and we'll put on precipitation and get you the snowfall totals that are being estimated there as well. A bit more of a broad look at things, though, for New York. Again, lake effect snow is a bigger concern there. Could get upwards of 1 to 2 feet, possibly going into Friday into Saturday. This is primarily going to be the main event there in New York, will be Friday. There will be a possibility for lake effect snow with this trough. So again, Buffalo, New York, and just to the north of Buffalo, this region here has the best chance for upwards of a foot, if not more than that. Again, just west of Rochester as well. Back near Watertown, still going to have a little bit of lake effect snow possibly there as well, maybe just slightly to your north. So that's what we're talking about in terms of snow through Saturday evening. This is, again, not all the snow you might see. The crazy enough, the NAM model shows upwards of 45 inches in Buffalo. I wouldn't really put your heart set on that at all, but there is definitely a possibility for about 1 to 2 feet of snow. Maybe a little bit more than that, though. As confidence grows and as we get closer, it'll definitely be something to watch for, maybe a bit more than that. But for right now, I'll conservatively say about 1 to 2 feet there near Buffalo, New York. Back north of Watertown is also another hot spot here. Again, we got Lake Erie right here. That'll be your source of lake effect snow. And then back up this direction, again, another source of lake effect snow, which will impact, I would say, more of Canada, possibly just north of Watertown, though. Going to see maybe between 1 to 2 feet of snow as well. So that's what we're looking at as of right now. Yes, Mystic, thank you. Hey, Ethan, how you doing? Q&A tab should just be in the chat. It should be like a little pin message. Can you guys all see the Q&A tab? Yeah, ask the questions if possible in the Q&A tab, because I'm primarily looking at that for right now. Let's go back over to another tab if I can find one. There we go. All right. Darth, right now, I mean, there's still a little bit of light snow in the Minnesota area near Minneapolis. Let me go back over to the Minneapolis region here. I did have a graphic up on here, but this is the current, at least this is what we've seen in terms of snow today. This is the remaining amount of snow that you'll see over the next 24 hours is right here. So not much more is to come, maybe an additional inch or two over in Minnesota. Shouldn't be too much more though, and most of that action will be clearing out here over the upcoming hours. This is the future radar. So again, by 12 to 1 o'clock, just a few light snowflakes out there, maybe a passing snow shower overnight. But other than that, most of the snow action should shift out. The big concern though is that we have the potential for very high winds, which will essentially bring us the potential for blizzard-like conditions. And that'll be anywhere from about Minnesota back through Iowa. So this is the kind of the biggest thing here, is that we'll probably see the potential for blizzard-like conditions Thursday into Friday due to high winds. They could very well get upwards of 50 to 55 miles per hour. It will create the potential for drifting, which makes hazardous road conditions very likely in these areas. So the winds will be coming out of the west and northwest, which will eventually equivalent to the potential for basically drifting, which will again cause some hazardous road conditions. So that's the biggest concern right now for that area, without a doubt. Let me go back over to here. Oh, if you're just tuning in for the first time, again, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We are very close again to 28,000 subscribers. We are actually only 3 away from 28,000. If you've not already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Again, we do go live quite often. If you have questions, again, feel free to pop those in the Q&A tab. It should show up in chat. Ryan, I am actually not entirely sure about that. I have really no clue. I have never really looked into that before. I mean, you might be able to look that up on Google. It might tell you something. I don't know. I have no clue about that. It probably does have some sort of correlation though, because I've heard a lot of people have those issues when it gets colder. And pressure changes as well. Actually, a little story real quick. When Hurricane Nicole made landfall in Florida, I was storm chasing that day, and I went storm chasing. You might have seen my shorts video on YouTube and stuff like that. I had a couple of them just kind of showing you some of the damage that was ongoing from Hurricane Nicole when it made landfall a couple months ago. And when I went outside, I was perfectly fine. Following day, I got into bed, like the following night, and my head, after the hurricane moved away, my head was hurting so badly. I thought I was like having some sort of issue, and I think it might have to do with the pressure, because the pressure went from like 980 millibars or something like that all the way up probably to 1,000. I mean, it was like such a drastic pressure difference in such a short amount of time that I think that just for some reason I got this like massive headache. So I do think it has something to do with it though. I would probably say there is something to do with that there. Again, I have personal experience of a headache with that sort of thing. Southern California will not get hit by this. Darth, I just answered your question, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I literally just answered it like 2 minutes ago. Is Western Kentucky getting any snow? Yes, you actually will have a little bit. I also left this out, man. I left out a couple of big things. Again, we have so many tabs open, it's like messy. All right, real quick, in Kentucky as well as into Tennessee. Again, primarily over in Kentucky and Tennessee, we'll have some of the heavier snow right along that frontal boundary, and that will really primarily be near areas like Bloomington, Evansville, back through Paducah as well. These areas will start to see some moderate snowfall, especially in Western Kentucky, even as far south, again, as like areas like Northwest Mississippi and as well as Tennessee. Eventually by 9 o'clock, snow is going to be really rapidly moving off to the east, so only a few hours of snowfall there in Western Kentucky, but it will accumulate to at least a few inches of snow there. By 12 to 3 a.m., it moves quickly off to the east, so it won't be very long lasting, but areas near Lexington, as well as back over near Somerset, those areas will see some snow probably between the hours of 9 to 12 o'clock. Again, the rain will be on the eastern half of that cold front there, so again, areas like Cooksville will start as rain, eventually transitioning to snow. So there will be a little bit of a mixture there, but it will not last long. It'll be a quick snap of a transition from basically rain to snow fairly quickly. Over to the snowfall totals in this area for Kentucky and as well as Tennessee. This is the current estimation from the NAM model, which I think has been, I'm kind of going with right now. Anywhere back over in Western Kentucky, probably going to see somewhere between about 2 to 4 inches of snow. Isolated spot could get to 5 inches if you get a heavier snow band. I wouldn't put much on that though. I would say the best estimate right now is probably gonna be somewhere there between about 2 to 4 inches of snow. That'd probably be the realistic estimate here. Back over in Tennessee, could also see maybe a few inches of snow there, primarily near Jackson and just off to the north and west. So that's what I would expect right now over that direction. Thank you for bringing that up. Again, if I kind of missed your location, I do appreciate anybody that's bringing those up, because I have missed a few areas in terms of stuff. I had so many tabs open earlier. By the way, thank you, Deborah, for the $20 super chat. I'm so sorry I missed that question. I was looking at the Q&A chat. It doesn't show on there. My daughter is in Skiing in Avon. Worried about her. Tell me the weather. Avon. Where is that exactly? Let me look that up. Is that Ohio? Just clarify that in chat. Let me know where that exactly is. I'm not sure. There's a few of Avons out there. By the way, thank you, Tech, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I do appreciate your support. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it a lot. Thank you. And as well as, again, Deborah, I really do appreciate the $20 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Happy holidays, by the way. We got 5 feet of snow in Christmas of 2017 in Erie, Pennsylvania. That's actually insane. It had to have been lake effect, I'm assuming, right? Eric, I have not seen a single troll, but I'm not really looking at chat that much, so. Hey, thanks, bro. I appreciate it. South Bend. South Bend is going to get hammered by this. South Bend could get upwards of potentially. I think I have Indiana on here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Colorado. Thank you, Deborah. I'll look at it in a second. Thank you, Mystic. 1 second. Let's go back over to this area. Yeah, South Bend, again, could get upwards of maybe a foot of snow. Dayton, Ohio, somewhere between 3 to 5 inches is my current estimate, Brandy. Thank you, Mystic, for the $1.99. Will 8 inches of snow be enough for a white Christmas? Probably will. If you're in the Midwest, it almost definitely will. I'd probably say 95%, yeah. All right, Avon, Colorado. Look that up real quick and get to this question. I'm guessing that's near Denver, maybe? That's actually west of Denver. And let me see what your question was again. Tomorrow. All right, yeah, let me go and show you real quick. I have so many tabs open, it's not even funny. All right, let's go over to Colorado real quick. Again, we have so many areas seeing weather over the upcoming days. It is so much stuff. I wish I could put more stuff into that forecast I made at the beginning, because I obviously missed a lot of places. Over in Colorado, going into tonight, not really much of anything. It's actually going to be pretty dry tomorrow, it looks like. High pressure most likely dominating Colorado. So, yeah, tomorrow should be fine. Deborah, shouldn't have too many issues. A couple of passing snow showers tonight, but that's it. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty cold there as well. Colorado, I'm pretty sure wind chills are going to drop. Yeah, cold front arrived tonight, actually. Denver, as of 5 o'clock this afternoon, the wind chill was -4 degrees, excuse me. And it's eventually going to drop down to the 20s, 30s, potentially, for wind chills. Back over near Edwards, a little bit warmer in the sub-10 range. So, again, I say warmer, but it's really not much of any warmer. It's going to still feel very, very cold out there. Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate it. Vail. Is that what it's called? Vail? I can't imagine being in -40-degree weather. I can't either. I cannot either. I've only done it maybe twice in my life, and it's brutal. I don't remember. It's been such a long time. All right, since the chat isn't moving too quick, I'm going to primarily keep it any questions to the main chat. I will answer a couple more, though, here in the Q&A tab, and I'll end the Q&A here in just a second. And then again, if you have questions, just put them in the regular chat. I'll get to them here in a second. Let's see. Roanoke, Virginia. I don't think Roanoke, Virginia is going to see much of anything. This is the estimate. Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky, maybe a few snowflakes. That's about it. It's going to primarily just be rain there on the mid-Atlantic regions, just due to the fact, again, you're on the warmer side of this trough. And when we go a little bit more large scale here, if I can find a tab to do that on, over in the large scale kind of scheme of things here, again, the trough is going to be primarily off to your west and northwest. So all this warmer and more humid air is coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, and as well as out of the Atlantic Ocean. Primarily just gonna be some rain. Other than that, I can't rely on a couple snowflakes maybe on the very tail end of this, going into maybe Friday morning. Again, not much though. It's gonna be maybe just a few flurries, maybe a very light dusting of snow. That'd be about it there. Chunky, I'm pretty sure most areas can handle 50-mile-per-hour gusts. You should be fine. Unless they're like very flimsy windows. Might be a different story. All right, let me, Fort Wayne, I'll get to in just a second. Let me just go and end the Q&A. I'll answer more of the questions in the regular chat here. All right, there we go. All right, let's go back over to the Indiana and Indianapolis area, give you an idea of snowfall totals over this direction as well. Let's go first to the winter weather here. This is the current estimate from the HRR model, still showing, and I'm kind of going with this as well, probably between 3 to 6 inches there in Indiana. Fort Wayne, for example, probably gonna be in that same range of 3 to 6 inches. Let's go back over the NAM 3K as well. This is kind of what I've been going with for the most part, and it's showing pretty similarly. 3 to 6 inches is a pretty good estimate there for Fort Wayne. You might see an extra couple of inches. Depends on how much, there's a possibility for a couple heavy snow bands with this, and you may end up getting like a snow squall. That could very well up those snowfall totals a couple extra inches as well. So definitely something to watch for. Toledo, yeah, Toledo will get some snow. I wouldn't expect too much. I would probably expect more in that 2 to 4 inch range. Possibility for maybe an extra inch. And also Detroit is in that same boat, maybe between about 1 to 3 inches there. Possibility for an additional inch or two is not out of the question though. Hey, thank you Mystic for a $4.99 super chat. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Appreciate the donation as well. Thank you. Appreciate the support. All right, over to here. Will there be power outages in Pittsburgh? I'm not gonna really, I wouldn't say likely. It's possible though. More likely than not, power outages though in New England, or the Northeast I should say, are primarily going to be in New England. This is the wind gusts across this area. Wind gusts will be highest really tomorrow night in Pittsburgh and anywhere in Pennsylvania between 40 to 50 miles per hour. So depending on how good your power supply is, I'm not sure how good it is in Pennsylvania. I've never really been there before. I've been there like once, but I'm not entirely sure how good their power lines hold up and stuff from winds, but I would say at least it's gonna be probably scattered power outages in the Pennsylvania, or anywhere in Pennsylvania to begin with. Back over in Maine, possibly some more numerous to maybe even widespread power outages, especially near the coastline. Again, we could have wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour in southern and southeastern portions of Maine, right along the coastline. So there's a possibility for some very significant wind gusts over that direction, which will very well likely equivalent to some power outages. So be ready for that for sure. And that's a big concern right now, is the power outage potential. Especially in Maine, anywhere along the coastline there of New England. Any area on the coastlines has a pretty decent chance of at least some scattered power outages due to how high the winds will likely be there. Sorry, 1 second. All right, there we go. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. And if you've not already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, like the stream, and turn on post notifications by clicking the bell icon. Again, we do live streams and video forecasts all the time. Most accurate here on YouTube. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Appreciate everybody tuning in as well. And yeah, if you have any questions, pop those in the channel. Answer some of them here. Trying to answer as many as possible. There's a lot of questions, but trying to answer as many as I can for one person. Hey, Jaden, how you doing? Sounds good, Daniel. Appreciate you tuning in. Nebraska and Iowa border. Go over that direction. I think I can do Iowa here, yeah. Iowa kind of leaves it in there. There won't be much more additional snowfall. Most of the snow has already fallen, if any, there. There might be a possibility, though, for an additional inch to maybe 3 inches there along that border there. So near Omaha, for example, maybe an additional 1 to 3 inches here over the next 24 hours, really over the next 12 hours, I'd say. But other than that, shouldn't be anything too significant over that direction. In eastern Iowa, this is an area that has blizzard warnings ongoing. That is due to the fact there's 3 to 6 inches. Might not sound like a lot of snow. However, it's going, and there might actually be a few areas near 8 inches. But the big issue is the wind gusts. They'll be so high coming out of the north and northwest this direction. That will create the potential for blizzard-like conditions with drifting going into Thursday and Friday. So we're expecting right now. Major interstate closures, it's definitely possible. I mean, if you're talking about like Michigan, for example, or yeah, I would say maybe Michigan has a better chance of that right now. But yeah, I would say anywhere in these blizzard warnings has that best chance for maybe a few of those areas having some closures. These are the current blizzard warnings in effect across the state of Michigan, Minnesota, as well as Iowa. Any of those red boxes are indicating blizzard warnings right now in effect. These are your blizzard warnings here, and then here are your winter storm warnings in effect for the pink boxes. So best chance for that sort of deal would probably be in the red boxes, which are your blizzard warnings. So there might be some interstate closures in those areas. I'd almost guarantee there probably will be going to Thursday and Friday. Thanks, Morgan. I appreciate it. Stay safe in Indiana, by the way. Stay warm. I should say stay warm more than anything. Purple. The purple is going to be your winter weather advisories. Winter weather advisories. We'll do WWW. Hey, Vince, I'm doing well. How about you? Going. Madison, Wisconsin. Let's go over to that area. And really anywhere in Wisconsin. Let's go directly into Wisconsin here. Really the highest snowfall totals will probably be in the central and eastern part of the state. We'll probably have more closer to 6 to 12 on the east coast, central portions of Wisconsin as well. Probably gonna be somewhere between about 4 to 8 inches. Possibility for maybe a couple of extra inches on the top of that is possible, especially near areas like Stevens Point, excuse me, and Madison. So yeah, but Madison probably gonna be somewhere between that 4 to 8 range. Maybe an extra inch or two, those possible. Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas will not see any snow. If you want more details on Dallas or anywhere in North Texas to begin with, go over to my Facebook page. Link is in the description. It has all the details for you there. I do like literally specific forecast there for North Texas on there. I literally just had a live stream too earlier, so go check that out. Any ideas on wind chills? I have a really good idea on wind chills. Let's go over to the wind chills. Yeah, wind chills are a huge thing with this, and a lot of people haven't really talked about the wind chills nearly as much as the snow, and there's some good reason for that, but the wind chills are going to get very cold. This is Friday afternoon, for example, across the Midwest. Almost the entire region will be somewhere between at least 15 below zero, if not closer up to 30 degrees below zero. Friday morning is probably going to be the coldest time frame, though. Again, I think southern Indiana was just mentioned. That region will probably be somewhere between about 25 to 30 degrees below zero. That also includes Evansville, which I think was just mentioned. So, yeah. Adam, you should be okay. I wouldn't expect too many issues. I wouldn't rule out a flight delay if you're going from Florida to New York, just due to the wind, but I wouldn't expect too much of anything too bad there. No problem, Jackson. Guys, we do not cover Canada, by the way. This is only United States. At least right now it is. So, I do apologize. I try to cover Canada to, like, an extent, but not really, like, specifically. Snow totals for Michigan. Let's go over to that. This is the current estimates right now for Michigan. Again, if you're in Western Michigan, that's where the highest snowfall totals will be. We'll probably see upwards of 1 to 2 feet from about Kalamazoo back through Grand Rapids and Traverse City, and then back over in areas like Saginaw, Flint, Mount Pleasant. Central and Eastern Michigan will probably be closer to the 4 to 8 inch range. Possibility for upwards of maybe 6 to 10 inches though in a couple of those areas, especially near areas like Lansing and Jackson. Detroit and Sarnia will probably be between about 1.5 to 2 inches, upwards of maybe 6 inches, and especially closer to Sarnia, there's a bit of a better chance there. But Detroit, I would expect between about the 1 to 4 inch, 2 to 4 inch. I'll probably go with the 2 to 4 inch range. That's kind of what I've been saying here. So remain consistent with the 2 to 4 inches there, that region. We're only 31 or actually 21 likes away from 300. If you've not already, make sure to hit the like button down below. Also, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below. I do appreciate, we actually just hit 28,000 subscribers, so I do appreciate everybody subscribing. And again, if you're new here, have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. Again, this is a very interactive live stream typically, so any questions that you might have, feel free to leave those in the chat. Keep you updated with the latest here. I expect travel advisories on Friday in Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne has that possibility because there will be potentially some drifting and obviously some snow out there as well on Friday. Let's go over to the future radar. It should be, for the most part, lighter snow amounts on Friday morning in Fort Wayne. Maybe just a couple of snow showers. The biggest concern, though, is the winds behind this. And these are isobars, by the way, indicates higher wind speeds. And this is a big concern because we could have some drifting, even as far south as areas like Fort Wayne and South Bend. Depends on how much snow those areas do see. But if you see upwards of maybe 4, 5, 6 inches of snow, it very well could create a bigger hazard for drifting snow. So big concern there, especially even for Fort Wayne, South Bend, Portage. And the further north you go here in Michigan, the higher of a concern it is. But over near Fort Wayne, definitely a possibility for some drifting snow, which could cause some travel impacts even on Friday, and maybe even through Saturday morning. So yeah, definitely keep that in the back of your head there, because there will definitely be some travel impacts out there. Hey bro, how you doing? Hey Cynthia, how you doing? Welcome back. Happy holidays. By the way, happy holidays to everybody that's here. I do appreciate, you know, all of you. Obviously, Thanksgiving already happened, but I am very thankful for all of you as well. So, happy holidays, if I've not already said it to you yet. And, yeah, again, this will probably be my last live stream until, I would expect, this will probably be my last live stream until after Christmas. I'm pretty sure I'm not going live tomorrow. I'm gonna take a little day off. I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow, so I have taxes. I have a lot of painful stuff to do tomorrow, so we're gonna be busy tomorrow doing other stuff. But yeah, I probably won't be live. But if I go live, it might be a couple hour stream. I might go live tomorrow morning, but if not, I'll try to get a video forecast out tomorrow morning, as long as my internet's working. I'm hoping it still works. It has been working all day or not all day today. It's been working for the last 2 hours, man. Has not been working though for like the entire day for the most part. It went out like, actually I made a video at about 12 o'clock. Internet went out for the most part. Like the upload speed just completely dropped to 0 at about 1 o'clock. So I couldn't upload a video here. I went to McDonald's, by the way, to upload my video today. I meant to upload it around 2:30. Didn't get uploaded until 5 because I was waiting for my internet to work again. It never worked again. And I went to McDonald's at 5 or like 4:30 to go upload my video. That internet was faster at McDonald's than this one. So that's the story of today. It's the grind. We had to drive all the way to McDonald's just to upload a video today. And that video, today's video actually was the most viewed video I've ever had on my channel, which I guess it makes it worth it that I went to McDonald's to upload it. I was originally thinking about not uploading it because it was just taking such a long time. All right, but back to weather. Hey, Misty, how you doing? Memphis. Let's go down to the south in Memphis. Memphis won't probably see too much. Best chance for snow. It's going to be pretty brief, I'd expect, but somewhere between about 5, maybe 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon through about maybe 8 o'clock, so maybe an inch or two of snow. That's basically about it. So, yeah. Further south you go, like areas like actually Mississippi has the potential for snow. If we go this far to the south, little bit of some snow there, maybe in northwestern Mississippi. Actually could even go through Florence and Alabama with maybe some passing flurries. Maybe even near Atlanta, by the way. You might see a passing, you know, couple snowflakes. So don't rule that out if you're down that far south. Nothing too significant. Yeah, something to watch for down to the south. Right, let's go back over to it's right here. Hawk, they are already seeing it. The winter blast and the cold air is already ongoing there over in Wyoming. Hey, thank you, Cynthia, by the way, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much. Happy holidays. Do appreciate it. Ohio snow. Let's go back over to that graphic if I can find it. There's so many graphics on here. All right, here's Ohio. I kind of mentioned this before. There's a lot of blobs here, and obviously it's pretty noticeable here. All these pinks. There's some blobs there. I wouldn't expect a direct 6 inches in each of these areas. There's a possibility, really, this entire region here, which might be where you live. I don't know where, but it might be where you live. But anywhere in this box I just drew has a chance between about 2 to maybe 4 inches of snow. But there is a possibility if you get some heavier snow bands, you could get upwards of up to 6 to 8 inches. So that's what we're looking at right now. Atlanta will only have maybe a passing flurry. That'd be about it. No snow really for Atlanta. Justin, overall, it's going to be very windy in Northeast Ohio. Again, we're going to have really high winds even coming off of Lake Erie. So it's going to be very windy over in areas like Cleveland, for example. But for the most part, snow-wise, 2, maybe 4 inches of snow. Realistic. Maybe upwards of 6, though. Again, I'm kind of giving you like that range. Most of Ohio will probably be somewhere between 2 to 4 inches. Higher snowfall totals will likely fall further north. So further north you go, like up here, for example, higher chance of snow. Further south you go, back down, or you go, I think I said snow. But further south you go, lower snowfall totals. So Wheeling, for example, as well as Parkersburg, probably gonna be somewhere between about 1 to 2 inches of snow. So lesser amounts the further south you go. Thank you, James, by the way, for becoming a 1-month Tornado Chaser member. Anything severe for Topeka, Kansas? Are you talking about snow-wise or severe-wise, like severe storms? Talking about storms, no storms are coming, but snow-wise, probably just maybe an inch or two. Won't be too much there. Possibility for up to 3 inches, though. Will Florida get flurries? I would not expect it, no. There won't be enough moisture that far to the south. This trough, if we go back to the large-scale view of things here, this trough is way, way up here. I mean, this is extremely far off to the north here. And the cold front goes far south, obviously, but it's the amount of moisture coming out down here, it's not enough, and the trough is just so far off to the north. We have a bit higher of pressure down here as well, so flurries for Florida doesn't look to be really likely at all. I wouldn't rule out an isolated snowflake again or two in maybe central Georgia. That's like the furthest south I would expect any little bits of snow to go. Again, that's kind of my estimate though right now. And if we go to like a sounding there in Florida, for example, this is like a quick sounding for tomorrow. Temperature 55 degrees when a little bit of maybe some patchy showers pass. So again, flurries in Florida does not look likely at all. I would not expect it. And somebody was asking about Kansas, by the way. This is the outlook for Kansas in the Topeka area, for example. Let's go over to there. So this is the most recent computer model runs. Few snowflakes, light snow, maybe a little patchy area of moderate snow possibly overnight tonight. By tomorrow morning, still some light, maybe moderate snow near Wichita, for example, and eventually going through the morning hours, most of that action will move to the south and east, all drying out by Friday afternoon. In terms of snowfall for this region in Kansas, we're still talking about a pretty decent amount of snow. So again, we'll probably have somewhere between 1 to 3 inches of snow. Topeka, for example, in that 1 to 3 inch range. Maybe near Kansas City, slightly higher, possibly upwards of maybe 2 to 4 inches. Can't rule out an isolated 5-inch amount. And then back in southern Nebraska, maybe a little hot spot there for maybe upwards of 3 to 6 inches of snow. But that's like the kind of the range right now. Wichita, Kansas as well, between 1 to 3 inches. Can't rule out an isolated spot near 4 inches in those areas. And even Oklahoma, by the way. If you're over in Oklahoma, there's a possibility for a little bit more snow down that direction, especially northeast of Tulsa. Might see an isolated spot near 3 to 4 inches of snow. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Again, there might be a little bit of snow out that direction. All right, let's go back over to Michigan here for now. Yeah, Michigan is the hot spot for snow going into the upcoming 48 hours. Fort Wayne will be between probably 3 to 5 inches, Joshua. My current estimation. All right, let's go over to Illinois. I keep getting questions on this area. This is Illinois and Indiana. So again, general estimate of what you might see in terms of snowfall. Again, this has kind of been my sort of, I've been kind of confident at this point with the NAM model. This is the one that we're using right now. Pretty confident with these snowfall ranges, at least. Again, you will probably not see exactly 4.5 inches of snow. I would say a reasonable range right now is between 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 6 inches. South Bend could really be anywhere from about 10 inches or even 9 inches, or actually possibly as low as 8 inches. Could go all the way upwards of 16 to 20 inches, though. Just kind of depends on where you are with this lake effect snow going to Friday into Saturday. That's a big question mark still, where that lake effect snow will exactly fall. So I think I've mentioned just about every area. Gina, I think I've mentioned every area at this point, hopefully, but that area, anywhere Wisconsin, I'll go back to Wisconsin here. Let's find where that is. I think I've gotten almost every area, though. I might be mistaken, but I think I've gotten most areas in this live stream so far. We've been live for just over an hour, just a hair over an hour, so I don't know where my Wisconsin one went. We'll go over to this and do snowfall totals on here and go to do Wisconsin. I don't know why I just pronounced it like that. All right, let's go over to Wisconsin here and put on this. Yeah, there we go. So here's the snowfall totals being estimated for Wisconsin. And I would realistically expect, again, probably higher snowfall totals the further east you go. So Green Bay, I would expect somewhere between 6 to 10 inches. Isolated spot could get upwards of maybe 12. And then back over near Milwaukee as well, probably between 3 to 5, maybe upwards of 7 to 8. And then anywhere over here in central Wisconsin will probably be somewhere between about 6 to 8 inches or 5 to 8 inches of snow. And I had another question about New York. No, you're good, Gina, you're good. No, trust me, there's a lot of, actually, I missed a lot of areas here at the beginning. This is over in New York, by the way. I know a lot of people are asking about Buffalo. This is the area that we could see. Again, it's estimating upwards of 70 inches. I don't think we'll see 70 inches again, but I would reasonably expect right now maybe somewhere between 1 to 3 feet of snow from the lake effect snow that's possible there near Buffalo. And it's going to be primarily on the northern side or even in central sides there of Buffalo. So that'll be kind of the main hotspot there. But again, this is just an estimate. Things might change, but there very well could be a lot more snow there in Buffalo to come here pretty soon. Hey, no problem, Bill. No problem. Lena, I don't expect much snow in North Carolina. Unless you're in like Western North Carolina, might get like a flurry, but it won't probably have any snow there. Chicago. I think I've shown this area about 15 times. Let's go back over there though. Where is it though? Right here. All right, there we go. Chicago's probably gonna be in that 4 to 6 inch range. That's my current estimate. 4 to 6, maybe 5 to 7 inches of snow. It's a pretty good estimate there right now. By the way, if you've not already and you want to join our community off the stream, you can ask me questions there as well. I'm pretty interactive with the community. Join our Discord server. Link will be in the chat from Nightbot. Make sure to join that. And most importantly, by the way, make sure you subscribe here to our YouTube channel by clicking that red button down below. Again, we do video forecast live streams all of the time, so you can always ask questions. We're only 12 subscribers from 28,100. So again, I would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button. And again, make sure to like the video as well. Would appreciate it. Lena, I'm 2 years through college for being a meteorologist. So I mean, a real meteorologist, technically no, but 2 years through, I know a lot about weather. So doing broadcast meteorology. Might be able to tell with how I talk. I do talk fast though. Big thing is talking fast. I'm kind of always used to that. Cincinnati will be probably between about, I would say about 2.5 to maybe 4.5 inches, James. Possibly, realistically, probably 3 to 5 inches is a good range. But again, plus or minus an inch or two is always possible. Thanks, Jacqueline. Appreciate it. Yeah, actually, I recently did I did my final exam for a broadcast meteorology class and went pretty well. Pretty well. That was like 2 weeks ago. No problem, James. Hey, you too, Gina. You too. Happy holidays. Appreciate it. Do appreciate it. Thanks, Timothy. Appreciate it. Yeah, Chicago is, you know, the Midwest is an area that I do like to cover. Though the names in the Midwest are hard to pronounce a lot of the time, I do enjoy covering the Midwest for severe weather and stuff like that. There's a lot of severe weather that typically happens up this direction. So, it's one of those scenarios like, you know, there's a lot of stuff on going up this direction. So, it is always nice to cover this area. And, it's definitely interesting. I know, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure what the exact number is, but I think probably about half of my channel, maybe a third of my channel is from the Midwest now. So there's a lot. There's a lot of my subscribers nowadays that are from that area. So Jacqueline, it's a lot of math and science. A lot of math and science. Thank you, Gina, by the way, for the $5 super sticker. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Happy holidays again. Great support. Cassie, are we going to see that much snow in New York? Let me go back over there real quick. I don't even know where that graphic went. It might be at the end here. I can't remember. All right, let's just go with this one. I wouldn't, at this point, set in stone a 44-inch snow total, especially since we're still a couple of days out. However, there is a possibility. It's not out of the question. With lake effect snow, like kind of what we saw, you know, a few weeks ago here in Buffalo, a similar situation, had lake effect snow saw up to 70 inches. This computer model is actually estimating right around 70 inches as well, just to the northeast of Buffalo. With a trough like this, it is definitely possible that we could see upwards of 4, 5, or 6 feet of snow again. But again, things may change a little bit. A small change in the wind direction, a small change in the moisture can make a major difference in lake effect snow. I mean, we could be talking about 50 inches. We could be talking about 5 inches of snow. But realistically right now, I would expect at least about 1 to 2 feet. But there's a possibility, again, for additional snow on top of that in the Buffalo area. And there's another possibility for lake effect snow back up this direction near Watertown and Kingston. Probably won't be as much snow as Buffalo, but there will still be a possibility for a bit of some lake effect snow up that direction as well. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting right now for that direction. Christmas will be cold across the United States. We had a record-breaking Christmas last year. North Texas, by the way, fun fact, DFW, Dallas and Fort Worth over in North Texas, their high temperature last year for Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve, excuse me, was 82 degrees. I'm pretty sure that was record-breaking, if not very close to it. This year, 32 degrees for a high temperature. That is near record-breaking low for a high temperature. So 82 degrees last year and then 32 degrees this year. That is a 50-degree difference year to year. That's insane. And not just that, I'm pretty sure Christmas Day, it's going to be a little bit warmer. I think it's going to be like 44 degrees or 46 degrees for the high. Last year was right around 84, 86 degrees, I'm pretty sure. So it was hot last year too. A fun fact. We have a lot of fun facts from North Texas on Facebook. So if you ever want to check that out, Facebook page is linked in the description below. 80 degrees in Naples, Florida. Man, that's hot. Well, it's not going to be that warm for Christmas, is it? For sure, Florida's going to be like the 50s for Christmas. Or 40s for highs. Wind chills will be very, very cold. A lot of areas will probably be below 20 to 30 below zero, especially in the Midwest. If I can find the Midwest again. Here's part of the Midwest. So yeah, again, wind chills, even Friday morning, for example, possibility for 30 to 35 degrees below zero does exist across a large chunk of areas like Indiana and Illinois. Hey, thanks, Kenley. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Very much. Hey, Royal, how you doing? Welcome back. Thank you, Ryan Benson, by the way, for becoming a 4-month Tornado Chaser member. I appreciate that a lot. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think the storm will be as bad in my area. How bad is the weather for Haileybury, Ontario, Canada? I'll look. I typically don't look at Canada weather, but I will check. It's close enough to the border. I don't really get good coverage the further north. Oh, it's pretty far north. I'll try to look. It's gonna be pretty cold up there for sure. Pressure's gonna drop pretty substantially too. I don't know if I can really reach it. It's gonna be kind of close here. Let's kind of put on the snowfall totals and look here. That area is pretty close up here. Probably gonna see somewhere between about 8 to 12 inches, I think. Right in that little crevice, I think, back up there, if I'm not mistaken, in Haileybury, Ontario. So somewhere between the 8 to 12 inch range. David, Tennessee won't see too much snow, maybe 1 to 3 inches. Isolated spot 4 to 5. It's going to be a pretty quick moving event. This is the current snowfall totals being estimated by the NAM model. So again, 1 to 3 inches has kind of been my estimate at this point across most of Tennessee there. Further south you go, obviously, lesser snowfall. Moisture kind of just gets lower and lower further south you go. Again, cold front is here, but obviously when you have a low pressure system way back up here to the north, you're going to have a lot less moisture the further south you go, so it's going to kind of just drop in terms of snowfall totals. Maybe a lucky coating there across northern Georgia or Alabama or even maybe Mississippi, but other than that, it won't be too much. It'll probably be 1 to 3 inches, but hey, if you want 1 to 3 inches, and that sounds like a lot to you there in Tennessee, then there you go. Ohio. Let me go Ohio. Wish I had all these organized better. I kind of did, but become unorganized very quickly. This is the current estimates right now for Ohio. Again, big note here is that this here, you can see these blobs. Again, I would not expect these blobs to be in these exact same spots. It just depends on heavy snow bands. A general estimate, though, is like 2 to 4 inches. Yes, it's a lucky coating. Very lucky. You win the lottery if you get a coating that far to the south. Can I tell a snowstorm story? You feel free to. It's easier to put it on Discord. Go do that, because I don't know how long the story is, but it might be easier to do it on there. Gina, I do. You want to see them? Again, here are me. This is all the tabs I have open, if you guys are curious. Top of your screen is all the tabs. It goes on, and I also have another set of tabs behind this, but I'm kind of going in between both of them. So, approximately 55, I think, total slides is what I have. So, yeah. There you go. There's a lot of tabs open. I'm surprised my computer's still operating at the level it does, but hey, it's not even a computer, it's actually a laptop. But you need to buy a sweater? You don't even have one, really? You don't have a sweater? An ugly sweater for Christmas, maybe? Maybe a Christmas gift? Ugly sweater? Does anybody actually have an ugly sweater in the chat? I've heard about those things, but I've never actually gotten one. Hey, there you go, David. 1 to 3. That's not bad. 1 to 3 is always a good... Honestly, I like 1 to 3 inches of snow. That's just kind of me. Anything above that gets a little bit overwhelming. 1 to 3 inches is a nice, comfortable amount, though. A coating is like underwhelming. 4 to 5 inches is overwhelming to me. I kind of like the 1 to 3 inch range for snowfall totals. Does anybody want to get me an ugly sweater for Christmas? I actually, actually, kind of funny enough, I actually do now officially have a little P.O. box. I might actually start opening that up to the public. It's more for other stuff, but I do officially have now a P.O. box, which is so exciting. Can't wait to get 1 letter a year. Can you post the Discord link? Yeah. Nightbot will post it. I'll do the command. There's Shelly. Shelly posted it too. Kansas City Metro, between 2 to 4 inches is realistic right now, Royal, for snowfall totals. North Carolina is more of a wind chill threat at this point in terms of cold weather. I don't expect much in terms of snow or anything like that, unless you're like Western North Carolina. This is the current look right now, wind chills. So going to Saturday morning. Friday morning, that's when the front really, or this is when the front arrives, but this is 7 a.m. on Friday morning, so well, heads up there. I'm actually generally curious, would any of you guys actually mail anything if I did open up a P.O. box? Like being serious here. Like, just say yes or no. I'm not offended. I'm actually kind of curious. I'm not sure if anybody's actually interested in that sort of stuff, but I'm thinking about maybe... I have one, I just don't know if I really want to make it public. By the way, in Grand Island, over in Nebraska, just a little report about an hour ago, wind, snow, and frigid air have arrived. -5 degrees with 30-mile-per-hour winds, wind chill of 32 degrees below zero. And it is really windy, a lot of snow falling there already. Pretty light snow, but it's blowing snow, so it makes it a lot worse, especially for commuting. So, a little update out of there. Yeah, I'm already aware of that. My P.O. box is like 2 hours from me, so 3 hours. I think it's about 3 hours from me. Somewhere in that range, 2 to 3 hours. Pretty far. Michelle, Maryland will just be rain. Actually, for temperatures in Maryland, let's go over to Maryland real quick for temperatures. I haven't really looked at that. Delaware, Maryland for wind chill. This is wind chills, not temperatures. But wind chills can be pretty cold. Baltimore and actually anywhere in the DC area will be down into the 5, 10, maybe 15 degrees below zero in that area. So it'll actually get pretty cold over there in Maryland and Delaware. Pretty cold. It'll be chilly. Frigid. Whatever you want to call it. That'd be pretty cool someday. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I might open it up. Public. Never seen snowfall. Is it beautiful? Depends. If you've lived in a state that sees snow all the time, I wouldn't consider it beautiful unless it's the first time of the season. But 1 to 3 inches, again, that's kind of like my nice range. How much snow do you guys find like your favorite amount of snow? Like a specific range or just like a specific inch mark? Kind of curious. How much snow do you guys kind of like seeing? Like, is it like 1 to 3, 10 to 20? I'm kind of curious. 2, 8. Hey, Astro, how you doing? Welcome back. None. None. Hey, that's a good answer. Especially, hey, move to Florida. You don't see any snow down there. Or even South Texas. South Texas typically never, I wouldn't say never, but they typically don't see snow. I think February of 2021 they did. 8 inches or more, but not wet snow. Yeah, fluffy and wet snow, big difference there. For those that are wondering, for wet and fluffy snow, wet snow is typically at the 25-degree mark or higher. And then anything below that is typically on the fluffy side of snow. Fluffy snow accumulates much slower in nature, and then wet snow accumulates much faster, which can sometimes even cause a bit more power outages in that realm. Fluffy snow is always nice. Yeah, 1 to 3 inches of fluffy snow would be really nice, honestly. Detroit, Michigan, probably between 2 to 4 inches, Rana. Thank you, by the way, for subscribing, guys. Appreciate it. There's too many names for subscribers tonight, but I do appreciate everybody subscribing. Yeah, if you have not already, by the way, make sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you're new here. Again, we do live streams, videos, and stuff like that all the time. And click the bell icon down below and turn on post notifications so you never miss a live stream or accurate weather forecast here on our YouTube channel. Erie, Pennsylvania has a lot of lake effect snow. Yeah, lake effect snow in Erie is very, very common during, like, especially even during this time of the year. I don't know if you'll really see much out of this event if you're still in Lake Erie. Let me go over to the snowfall real quick. I'm pretty sure the lake effect snow will be a bit further off to your north. Yeah, it'll be just slightly off to the north. Might actually skim the downtown area there of Erie. Winds will be coming out, though, of the west-southwest out of this area once that trough moves a bit further off to the north and east. So the snowfall will be much more significant over areas like New York. Again, the potential for upwards of a few feet of snow does exist in Buffalo, New York, going into this weekend due to the fact that there could very well be some lake effect snow once that trough moves further off to the north. So thank you, Shu, by the way, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate all the new members tonight. We have 3 new members tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Tennessee, 1 to 3 inches is the current estimated snowfall totals that you'll probably see down there. Other than that, cold weather is ahead. By the way, if you do become a member, Tornado Chasers and higher, so the $4.99 tier and higher, you do get bloopers access and all that sort of stuff. Weather tutorials, a bunch more stuff, so just make sure you use those benefits. You can go into the playlist tabs and it will show you those, so just a little heads up there. You become a new member tonight. Bloopers are hilarious, by the way. A lot of people love them, so. It's like, there's like, I think like 2 of them. They're like 3 minutes long total for both of them, so. Southwest Florida. Southwest Florida is definitely warmer than this, for sure. Southwest Florida is 100% warmer than what we're seeing up here in the Midwest. Williamsburg, Virginia. I'm not sure where Williamsburg is. It isn't over here near Charlottesville. I've been to Virginia a couple of times. I think it's near Charlottesville. Am I right about that, Sherry? With snowfall, not really anything in terms of snow, but there will be very cold temperatures. I think I had that up on another tab. Let me try to find that. Yeah, here's the wind chills. This is the wind chills going to Saturday morning. Very cold over there. Potentially 5, 10, maybe 15 degrees below zero. James, where is it? Is it in the general chat? Oh, it's in the live chat. 120 miles east. Okay, Sherry, I have horrible geography skills. All right, well, maybe I'm not right about I guess I have to go to Virginia a bit more often. Let me go find where that was again. Yeah, you won't see any snow, but again, wind chill is probably about 0 to 5 degrees below zero there. Or if that other map went. I do apologize. Yeah, right around 0 or 5 degrees below zero, most likely. I gotta visit these states more, get geography nailed down. I actually went to Virginia this past summer, and I went there to go to Busch Gardens in Richmond. Pretty fun. Busch Gardens is actually pretty cool. Pretty good time. I got a funnel cake there. Man, that thing just made me like 10 pounds fatter. Can't wait for Christmas. Honestly, I can't believe it's already Christmas. I literally last year, I feel like we just got past last Christmas like 2 days ago. That's like what it feels like. Time is flying by so fast. It's crazy. Like literally, I literally felt like I was just there like yesterday. But maybe I'm just remembering more. I have no clue. Will the wind be a problem in Tennessee? I haven't really looked. Let's kind of take a look here. I think it'll be between about 20 to 30 miles per hour down there. Maybe up to 40. Yeah, maybe up to 40 when the cold front passes overnight Thursday into Friday morning. Beyond that, though, shouldn't be too shabby. Most likely going to be in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. Yeah, the highest winds are going to be back up in New England, where some areas like the Cape Cod area back over in New England could get upwards of 70 to 80 miles per hour for wind gusts. And that's going to be pretty substantial, so... Right now, we're looking at over that direction. Tyler, right now, my prediction up there is really 12 to 18, maybe 18 to 24 inches. I'd probably lean towards the 18 to 24 back up in that direction in Traverse City. Let's go back up there real quick into Michigan. And yeah, again, this is the projection on the NAM model. I'm still thinking somewhere probably between 18 to 24. I say 16 to 20 is probably a pretty realistic range, though. 16 to 20. But might get a little bit more than that. It does depend on the lake effect snow as well, and how much you see with that. Hey, Monty, how you doing? Welcome back. I haven't seen... I was about to say, long time no see. I haven't seen you in so long. How's it going? I'll say it's been a long time. Oh, happy birthday, Shelly. Let's wish Shelly, our mod, a happy birthday. I didn't even realize it was your birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. 56 years young. Yeah, Minnesota's going to get cold, and it's already getting cold right now. Minnesota is one of those areas right now that is seeing very, very cold weather already. Let me go back up there to Minnesota real quick. The wind chills have already dropped substantially. They're going to get worse overnight tonight. By tomorrow morning, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities area, St. Cloud, 25, 35 degrees below zero. And eventually by Friday morning, it gets even worse, 35 to 40 degrees below zero in some spots. So it'll be very cold. Drifting is a big concern, though, with the snow. So with how much snow we're going to see, drifting is going to be a big concern, which is going to cause the blizzard-like conditions, which is why there are blizzard warnings right now in effect for Iowa through Minnesota. And that also includes areas like Michigan as well. Hey, you too, Jacqueline. Happy holidays. Hey, you tuning in. Thank you, Tyler, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. Man, we have 4 new members today. I think that's getting close to a record high. Appreciate Tyler becoming a new member here as well. Happy holidays. Thank you very much. Appreciate all the support tonight. Somebody asked if I'll be live tomorrow night. Again, I don't think I'll be live tomorrow. I have a lot of, like, taxes and stuff to do tomorrow. I have a lot of stuff to do in terms of all that stuff. So, probably not. But if I can, I will. If I don't go live tomorrow, I will probably not be live again until after Christmas. So, and there's a possibility I do go live just prior to the new year. There might be a system coming, but more updates on that. And also, I'll have a video tomorrow morning, by the way. I'll have another video tomorrow morning. Not sure when, but I'll have another video covering this event, giving more specific details. And yeah, I'll actually make that after the stream, and I'll probably post it around 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow. So keep a close eye on that. Again, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss a forecast, an accurate forecast, or a live stream. And make sure you subscribe. Click the bell icon down below as well so you get notified when those videos and live streams come out. Caden, they will fluctuate. Yeah, computer models are always fluctuating. Even though like the smallest of changes happen, there's always fluctuation with the computer models, but I wouldn't expect any major fluctuation in terms of like a major change. Like, for example, I wouldn't expect a jackpot of snow like this to all of a sudden shift 50 to 100 miles to the east, for example. So no major changes I would expect here over the short term. That's actually I shouldn't say that because it's not like impossible to happen this like to disappear, for an example, but lake effect snow plays a bit more of a part into this snowfall. But yeah, again, I wouldn't expect any major changes here over the next 24 48 hours. Hey Max, no problem. Yeah, I'm a big weather nerd, always have been. Always have been. Jen, I just say happy holidays just as a respect for everybody. Typically the term that most people use as well. Hey, thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it. Did it a lot. Appreciate the support. And again, our tiers for memberships are so, I mean, like, they're really reasonable. We have literally membership tiers beginning from $2.99. So if you ever want to support the page, even if it's at a small amount, which is actually a really large amount to me, you know, click the join button. It's really appreciated if you can. Obviously, if you can't, don't by any means, but it does help the page out a lot. We really appreciate it. Can you show the Dallas, Texas area? Yes, I can show it. Again, I would prefer you go over to my Facebook page that is linked in the description below. Has a lot more details for you. I literally do North Texas weather only on there. So it gives you a bit more of an idea of what to expect. But let me see if I can find that real quick. I had a tab somewhere. I think I lost it, though. All right, let's just go down to Texas with this real quick. And I'm guessing you're talking about, did you say North Texas? Yeah, Dallas area. Yeah, so tomorrow it's really primarily just going to be cold weather. That's really the main concern. So tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and think, hey, I might be able to wear, you know, I might be able to get away with a t-shirt, maybe some pants, you know, for the morning. Don't think that way, though, because it's going to really drop in terms of the feel-like temperature quickly. I mean, it's going to be 44 degrees at 9 a.m. By noontime, it's going to drop into the single digits, if not below 0 degrees. And eventually by the afternoon and evening, temperatures will drop 10 degrees below 0 in some areas. Near Dallas, it'll probably be about 5 degrees below 0. So, oh, sorry, James. I'll check that out in a second. I forgot. Will I do a members only stream? Probably not. I don't typically do members only. If it's weather related for like a severe weather event, there's tornado warnings, I will never do that. That is ridiculous. Or even severe thunderstorm warnings, I will like literally never do that. It's ridiculous. There should not be a paywall for weather. But if it's like, you know, like a little fun stream or something like that, that's not weather related, I might do something like that. I've done one time a behind the scenes stream, which was not really anything to do with like severe weather or anything like that. But yeah, if there's any member only streams, they'll probably be pretty limited. All right, let me read what the story was. I lived in New Jersey. We got at least 3 feet of snow. We had to make a canal around the inside of my fence so the dog could use the bathroom. Actually, you know, that's actually, James, that's when snow, like, you know, feet of snow falls. That is something that a lot of people do. It's actually an interesting story, though, because I've actually had to do that before when we had a lot of snow one time. So, yeah, it's definitely something that you kind of do have to do. Unless it's really fluffy snow, you might get away with it, but still, then you'll have to shovel a little bit for some room. Monty, wind gusts in Louisiana will be between about 25-35 miles per hour at the peak. Maybe 40 if you're near Shreveport. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. I'll be live here for a little bit longer, probably another half an hour or so. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. Again, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like the stream, and make sure you click the bell icon down below. Again, I'll have another video forecast out tomorrow morning with more details on what to expect for this massive winter storm and as well as a blizzard. Obviously, that's what's basically happening here. So again, we'll keep you updated with the latest on everything that you need to know here on the Max Velocity YouTube channel. And yeah, we'll keep you posted. Busy next few days are ahead, though, across the Midwest especially. Snowfall totals for Missouri. Let's go down to Missouri. I haven't really looked at this too much, but it's primarily going to be about 3 to 5 inches across most of Missouri. So like Columbia, for example, probably in that 3 to 5 inch range. Hey, have a great night, Lauren. Appreciate you tuning in. Great, safe rest of your night. Shelly, I have actually no clue. That's an interesting question. James, I would imagine, by the way, I would definitely imagine that. Yeah, most traffic, like DOT, for example, they are saying that you should not travel until Christmas Day, if not later, because the conditions will be really bad all the way through Saturday. It's going to be pretty bad out there. Christmas Day is when it should start to let up a bit more in terms of the travel conditions. And if we go back to like this timeline, for example, back over in the Twin Cities, this is a pretty good example of what you can expect there. And there's probably going to be an extreme amount of impacts all the way through Friday and maybe even through a good chunk of Saturday. And again, that's a big concern right now. It's going to be that potential for some travel impacts. And these are all the different highways and as well as the Interstate 35 there in Minnesota. Again, these are the travel impacts that you can expect. Again, it's not recommended at all that you should travel. Avoid traveling at all costs if possible, unless it's an emergency, because again, significant to extreme impacts are expected beginning as early as already now, and as well as going into tonight, the impacts will just get worse and worse. Deteriorating conditions are expected throughout the night into tomorrow and all the way through Friday and into Saturday as well. So it'll really get bad out there for sure, with all the drifting and whatnot that we're going to see with all the snow that's going to be coming out of the system. So how rare is this event? Once in a decade? I'd say it's a bit more rare than that. This isn't something that, at least in December, we did. I mean, the last time we saw something similar to this was like 3 decades ago. So it's not like I would say it's a bit more rare than that. Again, it's definitely a historic event that we're seeing here. Cincinnati, Ohio, for snowfall totals will likely be between 3 to 5 inches of snow. The current estimate there. I should have put up some live cams. I didn't really think of that tonight, but I should have put up a few. There's actually, let's go over to the software real quick. I haven't really gone on to this yet. Let's go over to the live radar here across the United States, and there is actually already some snow out there. It's not significant by any means, but there is some light to moderate snow already falling. County line should come in here. There we go. Let's take out the cold front real quick. So yeah, there's already some light snow in Minneapolis and whatnot. The Minnesota area is already actually, let's go and pause this real quick back here. Some snowfall totals have already been upwards of 5 to 6 inches in Minneapolis, 7 inches there near St. Cloud, and just south of Minneapolis as well, near 5.5 inches of snow. Back near Des Moines, talking about 2 to 3 inches. That's pretty much what was forecasted already. And more recently, we've had snowfall totals near the border of Wisconsin and Iowa, near 1 to 2 inches of snow. Grand Island starting to see some snow out there as well. We have wind gusts being reported as well. Wind chills, by the way, are down to 35 to 40 degrees below zero already in northwest portions of Kansas. Also 2 inches of snow fell already back over near Stratton, and then back over here, I think up here in the north, we have a bunch of these. Yeah, so wind chills up this direction are already down 40 to 45 degrees below zero, 52 degrees below zero near Agar, and that's north of Pierre. So again, very, very cold over this direction. And along Interstate 90, even 51 degrees below zero near Vivian, north of Interstate 90. So very, very, very cold over that direction. And again, that's all to come for these other states as well, like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. So yeah, again, decent amount of snow though is ongoing already. It's obviously not the bulk of what we'll see, but we do have some snow showers beginning, as mentioned before, over Lake Michigan. That will move into western Michigan as well here over the next few hours. And then we have some light snow already really starting to on-go. We have a little bit of a moderate snow band, it looks like, near Interstate 94 east of Minneapolis. That's over near River Falls and Eau Claire. I can't remember how to pronounce that name, but just west of there near Interstate 94. A little band of moderate snow currently ongoing. But overall, a lot of the snow activity is light. Maybe a couple of spots of moderate snow, a bit more of moderate to heavy snow ongoing back over in south and southeastern Nebraska. This will accumulate to potentially 4 to 8 inches of snow. So definitely some decent snow coming there. And then back further to the south here, couple of little pockets here of some light snow back over in northern Oklahoma. And that will open up the doors for the potential for maybe a coating to maybe a few inches if you're in northeast Oklahoma. So that's what we got going right now on the radar. And yeah. Let's go back over to the cold front too. This is the frontal boundary, by the way. So cold front's already diving through Kansas, racing into Oklahoma right now. Cold weather is to come here across the central and southern portions of the United States. So we got going right now across the United States in terms of the snow activity. That tornado out, yeah, I remember the tornado outbreak. We covered about, I think I was live for like 4 hours of it. We had a couple of PDS tornado warnings on that stream. It was a very active day. Eau Claire, thank you, Brooklyn. Yeah, Wisconsin, there's a lot of different names that are hard to pronounce, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, Eau Claire. So, trying to remember it. Yeah, again, that's what we're looking at right now across the United States. And also we have some of the rain that's ongoing. Southerly winds is bringing a couple of showers out there in the southeast right now into the mid-Atlantic regions. Couple of snowflakes in the higher elevations there in western Virginia and in the Appalachians. But other than that, it's primarily just rain out that direction. A lot more snow activity back over the Midwest east of Minneapolis. Little bit of moderate snowfall here near Eau Claire. And then further to the south here, we actually have a couple other areas of moderate snow beginning now northeast of Davenport near Clinton and Dixon. Those areas are beginning to have a couple of pockets of moderate snowfall. That could equivalent to maybe 1 inch or 2 of snow per hour. Nothing heavy, though, it looks like right now. We're not really seeing a lot of heavy snow. Another little band of moderate snow moving towards Interstate 35 in Iowa. And then really the heaviest snow that we have right now ongoing is back near Grand Island, south of Interstate 80 over in Nebraska. So this is the region that we're seeing a bit more of that heavy snowfall action passing through south and southeastern Nebraska. A couple of flurries and light snow starting to begin there as well near Interstate 70 in Kansas. That's what we got going on right now in those states. Let's go back over to here. Tennessee shouldn't have too many issues. Tennessee is primarily just going to be 1 to 3 inches of snow. Maybe some minor travel impacts. Temperatures will be pretty cold, though. Temperatures, I would say, is a bigger concern, but snow should remain at a minimum there. 1 to 3 inches is realistic. What do I see for Ohio? I would say a pretty good estimate would be about 2 to 4 inches across most of the state, but you could get upwards of 3 to 6 in a few areas. So that's the current estimate from me in Ohio. Blizzard conditions will begin in Iowa, eastern Iowa, probably as early as tomorrow. Let me go over to the wind gusts real quick over in Iowa. I'll give you a better estimate on timing there. Probably actually as early as tomorrow morning, but I expect it ramps up a lot more going into Thursday night to Friday when wind gusts pick up near 50 miles per hour. Thanks, Brooklyn. I appreciate it. So yeah, wind gusts are going to really pick up during the late Thursday hours into Friday morning, so blizzard-like conditions possible really all day Thursday, but it's going to ramp up a lot more with drifting with the snow probably going into Thursday night to Friday morning. Pretty good estimate there. Oh yeah, Ricky, I mean there might be a few flurries back up in northern Georgia, but other than that it's just gonna be cold, cold, and maybe a little bit of rain, but that'd be about it. Be too bad. Yeah, if you're just tuning in for the first time, by the way, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We're on the road to 28,250. And also make sure to hit the like button down below if you're new here, and turn on the post notifications button, the little bell icon down below. And you'll be notified when we go live and anything else like that. So make sure to click the bell icon down below. Be updated with the latest. No problem, Financial. I think Southeast Michigan will be added to a blizzard warning. Not Southeast Michigan, I wouldn't expect. I mean, if you're talking about like this chunk here near Detroit, that's what I'm guessing you're probably meaning, right? Probably not. I mean, maybe, possibly Central Michigan. It's not out of the question, but over here near Detroit, probably not. I don't need claps. Do not need claps in the chat. The only reason why I always do this is because I'm helping so many people, so. Alright. Also, by the way, the red boxes are the blizzard warnings that we have ongoing. Pink is winter storm warnings, and any of these blues, primarily only in Ohio and as well as back up into the upper Michigan Peninsula, those are winter storm watches right now. Yeah, they haven't been upgraded at least on this end yet. And then winter weather advisories in effect across a large chunk of the United States, by the way. These are all your winter weather advisories, a huge area here under that threat. And that's basically all the way back from Virginia into Montana and even into Utah. I mean, it's a huge area under winter weather advisories. And yeah, and again, we have winter storm watches in effect near Buffalo, New York. That will probably get upgraded in the near future. We also have wind advisories, I believe, and high wind warnings now in effect, it looks like, in parts of New England. So that's also an update there. I had to make sure those were winter or high wind warnings. And there's also high wind watches in effect for New England. Again, wind gusts could get upwards of 70 to 80 miles per hour in some spots. It's going to be windy there. I got you, Ricky. Yeah, it shouldn't be much of anything. I mean, coating at best for snow. It shouldn't be much of anything, though, in Georgia. And it would only be in northern Georgia. That'd be basically about it. I wouldn't expect anything too significant there. Be pretty minimal. Kind of small emojis. Haven't seen those in a while. Yeah, it's not exactly the same for Texas, Sparta. This one will be probably about half as bad as what we saw in February of 2021. February of 2021, we had below freezing temperatures for around 140 hours in DFW. This time around, it's going to be somewhere between 54 to 72 hours, so not as bad. Wind chills also about 10 degrees warmer than that time frame. We're not going to really see any snow out of it, so not really as bad as it, but it definitely has some similar characteristics. But obviously, this is in December. Imagine if this was in February, we would be possibly talking about a bit of a different story for Texas again. Yeah. Daniel, this is pretty much the latest update on Michigan. I mean, I'm talking about probably the highest snowfall totals is going to be in western Michigan. Could see between 1 to 2 feet in those blizzard warnings. And then back over here near Detroit and Sarnia, probably going to be in the realistic range of 3 to 5 inches, maybe upwards of 7 in a couple spots. And then central Michigan, probably going to be between the 5 to 9 inch range as well there. Possibly a couple of areas getting maybe up to a foot, depending on how much of the heavy snow bands that you see tomorrow. How does this compare to the blizzard of 78? The blizzard of 78 was further east than this, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was a nor'easter, wasn't it? I'm correct on the one you're referring to. I'm pretty sure that was a New England event, though, more than anything. But I wouldn't say they are the exact same, but they do have similar characteristics as well. Pressure is definitely low on both of them. This one's going to get down to around, I think, 964-ish millibars. So a bomb cyclone, basically, and yeah, they're similar. I think the Nor'easter, though, back in 78 was much worse. Oh, really? Okay, so I guess it was a bit further west then, too. I obviously I was not alive in 78, but I have some general idea of what it did. I didn't think it was that far west, though, but let me look it up real quick. It was more, yeah, it was a nor'easter, so it impacted New England pretty substantially. I think it was a nor'easter, right? Chicago saw between 12 to 13 inches of snow during that. It was called the Great Blizzard of 78. When was the nor'easter that I'm trying to refer to? Might not have been 78. It might have been 70. Was it 71 maybe? I can't remember. Or 73, I don't know. It's somewhere in the 70s. There's a big blizzard. It was a nor'easter, and it brought a bunch of snow to New England. Thanks, Liz. I appreciate that a lot. Appreciate you subscribing. It must have been more of a Midwest than blizzard. My bad. I thought we were referring to the... I can't remember what year it was, but there was a nor'easter that... the only reason why I know about it was because Harvey Leonard was, like, spot on accurate with it, and everybody else wasn't. They all downplayed it, and Harvey Leonard was the one that didn't downplay it at all. I can't remember which blizzard it was. I thought it was 78, but I might be wrong. Indiana? Yeah, let me pull it up. Let me just go back to this and do Indiana. Yeah, I think Evansville area will probably be between 2 to 4 inches, maybe up to 5 if you're lucky. It depends how, if you get a heavy snow band, you might get an extra inch or 2 over this, but you also might get a couple inches less if you don't really see much of any of that heavy or moderate snow. But realistically, 2 to 4 inches probably for Evansville. Thanks, Dean. I appreciate it. I'm on pretty late. Yeah, no. My internet has not been working like all day. I had to go to McDonald's to upload my video today. So my video got uploaded near 5 o'clock. I meant to upload it around 2:30, and it got uploaded at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And it was because I had to literally go drive to a McDonald's to upload the video. That's how bad my internet was. So McDonald's Wi-Fi apparently was better than mine. Yeah, we're back. I was hoping to go live back at 10 o'clock this evening. I think it was actually, no, it was actually, I was trying to go live around 8:30, and my internet still wasn't working, so. It'll probably be pretty bad in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids probably going to see upwards of a foot-ish of snow. 8 to 12 inches. Lake effect snow might bring an additional few inches over this. This is the 60-hour projection. If we go all the way through the lake effect snow, probably going to get upwards of just over a foot of snow there near Grand Rapids with that lake effect snow in mind. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know that, Shelly. Yeah, because, I mean, yeah, it's just easier for McDonald's there. Hi, Dawson. How you doing? Thank you, Midnight Alexander Luke as well for all subscribing. I appreciate it, guys. Welcome. Appreciate you guys subscribing. Milwaukee's probably going to be somewhere between 3 to 7. 4 to 7, or excuse me, 3 to 7 or 4 to 8, kind of in that range. It'll probably be on the upper hand of that, most likely. Probably closer to 6 to 8. Any updates on Western Pennsylvania? Not much. I mean, the only area that might really see significant snow would be probably right along Lake Erie. Erie might see up to a foot, depending on the lake effect snow. But other than that, Pittsburgh, for example, probably not going to see much. Coating to maybe an inch or 2 possible. Groove City, kind of in that same boat, maybe a couple inches. So, probably what we're going to see there. More significant snowfall probably going to be in central Pennsylvania. That's primarily going to be coming, actually, going to tomorrow morning. And, yeah, that's what I expect right now for those areas. Back over into the Midwest, by the way. Southern Midwest. By the way, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Again, like the stream if you're enjoying the content so far. And the forecast, we're only 36 subscribers right now from 28,200, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, another crazy thing, and again, I had the internet issues all day. I wasn't actually thinking about uploading today's video just because of how late it was getting. It was almost 5 o'clock by the time it uploaded. And I went to McDonald's, and it ended up actually, today's video hit 28,000 views. That is the most viewed video I've ever had on this channel, ever, and really on any channel. I mean, this is like the only one I've ever used. So 28,000 views, though, that's insane. And that was pretty much all those views came in like the first 5 hours. So my second most viewed video was back on the geomagnetic storm that happened back in August. That was about 22,600 views, I think. So, crazy stuff. I'm glad I went over to McDonald's and uploaded it, though, because I'm glad so many people watched it. So, you know, get the best weather information possible, hopefully, and be prepared for this system. Chester, it's just a bot. It's an actual bot that I have, so it's not like actually, it's not really spamming. I mean, it does spam, but automated. We're also only 45 likes from 500, by the way. If you have not already, hit the like button. I didn't realize that. See if we can hit 500 likes before the stream does end. So many roads already closed on Google Maps. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. A lot of roads are going to be closed, especially going into tomorrow, Friday, and maybe even early Saturday. No, Chester, you're good. But, yeah, there's going to be a lot of roads closed. Interstate's definitely probably going to be closed as well. So, yeah, it's all going to kind of stack up. You know how much snow there will be, blowing snow, drifting snow as well. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. High winds, rigid wind chills. I mean, everything's going to be adding up. So, obviously, interstates will definitely probably be closed. Not all of them, but some of them might be for some mileage, and a lot of roadways probably will be as well. Hey, no problem, Chester. I typically do these little discussion live streams the night before something big, so. Kim, I don't get any college credit for doing this. This is actually more right now of just my job paying off for college. That's basically what this is now. And it has been for like the last half a year now, so I'm really glad that I'm able to do all this, and I love doing it. This does not feel like a job by any means. I just love doing this. I'm glad I'm able to help so many people, but it really helps actually pay off for college, which is so expensive. But no, I don't get any college credit for this. Just love doing what I do. Pretty much it. But I do have a couple of professors that know about my page. I don't really tell many people. I don't really tell anybody about this, but they love it. They love it. I know about 3, maybe 4 professors at most that actually know about this. And honestly, I think now I'm up to around 70,000 followers on both Facebook and YouTube combined now. So I have a lot of followers. It's kind of crazy. 3 years later. And I mean, I only started doing nationwide weather half a year ago. So that's on YouTube. Facebook is only North Texas weather, and I don't plan on ever changing that. I love doing that area. Thank you, Matt, by the way, for subscribing, as well as bald guy. I appreciate it. Are you going to school for weather? Yes, I am. I am broadcast meteorology major right now. Thanks, Liz. I appreciate it. And there's always a possibility too after college. This could very well possibly be a potential still job for me. It's never out of the question, but my goal has always been to be on like an actual live TV station, doing local weather or even doing nationwide weather. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I already got a job offer, and I'm not even halfway through college yet, so yeah. Already got a job offer from a station in Missouri, but I'm not going to take it. I want to get through college. I had that option, and that actually was like I think that was about 10 days ago that I got contacted by somebody. Wanted me to work for them. I'm like, I'm good for right now. A little bit early. I would say I'd be pretty good at doing that, but it's just, I'd rather get through college. Thanks, Cynthia. I appreciate it. West Central Wisconsin. Most likely to be somewhere between about 4 to 8 inches, of snow in those areas. If you're near Eau Claire, for example, probably in the 3 to 5 inch range, maybe an isolated spot near 6 to 7. And La Crosse, for example, as well, probably going to be in that 4 to 8 inch range. Maybe an isolated inch or 2 more, though, is not out of the question. Come to Minnesota. Yeah, we'll see. Minnesota, man, I don't think I'd ever, if I got an offer in Minnesota, I just don't think I would ever go there. It's so cold. I don't know if I think I would go insane if I lived in Minnesota. Those wind chills are like 30 to 40 degrees below zero over the upcoming days. That would be crazy to deal with. Awesome weather in Missouri. Yeah, that's one of those things too. Missouri actually does have some pretty interesting weather. They have all different types of weather. It's not just snow in the winter. There can be some mixtures of different things, sometimes severe weather too. So yeah, Sparta, that's kind of one of those things. Basically all year, oh, I didn't mean to do that. It's basically what you're going after though is just a piece of paper. For me, that's kind of what I'm just trying to get. It's just a piece of paper for the most part. And eventually, I mean, after college, I can call myself a meteorologist on here. So that's the goal. Dave, no, I am paying a lot of money for college. I'm not on like a full ride or anything like that. I wish I was. I haven't even asked my college like if I can get college credit for what I'm doing, but I doubt they would even say yes. Doubt it. But I do invest a lot of time though into doing all this weather stuff. A lot of time. Dr. Max, no. I'm not going for my doctorate's degree or anything like that. 4 years of college is enough. 8 years, man. I might go insane if I went for 8 years. Somebody said get your master's degree. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's kind of a long time. California. I might also go insane if I did weather for California. California is very, very boring. I need to be in an area that at least has like at least a few severe weather events a year. At least a few, because that's kind of what I strive to do. So don't know until you ask. That's true. I might have to ask. We'll see. Not like Dr. Reed now. I'm not gonna go for doctorates. I'm so, Reed's give him props. He's a PhD. Props for that. Yeah, I probably won't go beyond 4 years. I don't see much of a benefit in doing it. And I just want to live life. I don't want to do 4 more years of college when I feel forced to. It kind of feels forced, you know? It's kind of one of those things. Hey, thanks, Dean. Appreciate it. Have a great night. Because 4 years already feels forced. And then going for another 2 or 4 years, it just feels, it's just too much for me. Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it. Yeah, Reed's great. I kind of want to meet up with Reed sometime. I don't know if he's ever going to be in anywhere where I'm near, but maybe sometime. Meet up. Maybe sometime. Hey, I just saw sad news on Twitter. Just looking at Twitter to see if we have anything in terms of weather information as of recently. There is obviously, by the way, heavy snowfall rates of 1 inch an hour currently, and will reduce visibility there in southeast Nebraska over the next few hours, by the way. Just a little heads up there. Recent mesoscale discussion there from the National Weather Service. Little update. Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it. I get that a lot. The 2 things I get a lot are that I have a auctioneer type voice or I have a broadcast meteorology type voice. I get both because I talk very fast. I could be an auctioneer. I've seen Reed here a couple times. I haven't seen him recently, but he's pretty busy. I think the last time I saw him was maybe back in August, I think, in this chat. He is subscribed, I think, so. I've seen Brandon Kopik a couple times, not recently though, and also Vince I've seen a couple times. I think he was a bit more recent. Can't remember though. Hey, no problem, Bill. Appreciate you tuning in. My pleasure. Shane, blizzard-like conditions likely Thursday and Friday. Snowfall-wise, 4 to 8 inches is probably going to happen there in eastern Iowa. I'm not sure about Clinton County. I don't even know what county that is, but general estimate probably between 4 to 8 inches. Yeah, August seems probably right about where that was. Denver's a hard place to forecast, mainly due to the mountains. I'll have to look, Julie. I'll definitely look into it. Charlie, right? Yeah, have an auctioneer giving the weather forecast at 6 a.m. when you just wake up. Man, that would make my day just so much better, you know? I mean, really, it's kind of funny though. Like some of these people, like, you know, you'll wake up to like a weather forecast or something like that, won't be overly thrilled about it, and then you'll see this person talking super fast, and you're like, "What is this guy saying? I'm still half asleep." So yeah. Milwaukee will not get the worst of this event, but you'll definitely get some snow. Probably a good 3 to 6 inches at least, if not maybe a couple inches more. Good little estimate there. Central Indiana? Yeah, Central Indiana. This is the current estimate at this point. So Central Indiana, probably a good 2 to 4 inches is most likely going to happen near Indianapolis. Could get upwards of 5 to 6 though. If you're on like a bit further to the north or east, you might get a little bit more. The amount of comments, they're kind of funny sometimes. The amount of comments that I get about me talking too fast is really funny. And I don't, you know, I don't mind the criticism and stuff. And I do agree, I have to talk slower, but a few of them do make me laugh. By the way, we're only 17 subscribers from 28,200, so if you've not already, hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Again, click the bell icon as well down below if you've not already as well, so you get notified when I go live and do video forecasts, accurate video forecasts here on YouTube. And also make sure to hit the like button. I think we're a couple likes only away now from 500 likes, so make sure to hit the like button. Looking forward to the warm weather late next week. Yeah, there will be a warm-up next week. It'll be nice after this cold weather. Will be a little bit more mild next week in the United States. The GFS model shows 6 to 8 inches in Indiana. Is that possible? Anything's possible. Realistically, this is I would say, pretty realistic amount of snow that you'll probably see here in Indiana. Probably somewhere further south is around 2 inches, up to maybe about 5 to 6 inches in central Indiana. If you're further north near Fort Wayne or north and west, you have a better chance of maybe somewhere between 3 to 6, maybe upwards of 8 to 10 inches. If you're right there near the Lake Michigan area, you might get upwards of a foot to 2 feet because of the lake effect snow potential. So, thanks, Julie. Will there be any severe weather next week? It's kind of early, but there's definitely a possibility. There will be probably some severe weather returning sometime late next week, if not into the following week. So right around the new year, there's probably gonna be a couple of little severe weather events. I don't expect either to be large scale right now, but they are possibly going to be something to watch for in terms of at least a maybe a slight risker sort of event. Chester, I've done one chasing before. That was for Hurricane Nicole. I do plan on doing a couple of chasing streams in the future, but I've only done really a couple. Antonio, probably in the southern plains, if not the southeast. Pretty similar to these last couple events. The one that happened in Texas into Oklahoma and also into the Arkansas and Louisiana area, and as well as the most recent one, I think it was about a week ago, the severe weather event in the Dixie Valley, and as well as Louisiana that brought a bunch of tornadoes, probably in that same sort of area. But again, I don't expect it to be as bad as either of those events. Most likely. I'm live for 2 hours. Man, time flies. It literally felt like I just started the stream. Crazy. Snowing in Green Bay right now? Yeah, there is some snow already beginning. I'll go back to the radar, but yeah, there's some light snow starting to begin over there. It'll pick up more in intensity overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, so. Most likely. By the way, we're only 6 subscribers now from 28,200. If you've not already, make sure to subscribe. And also, again, click the bell icon down below for post notifications. Again, we'll be doing I don't know if we'll be doing another live stream before Christmas, but I will have a video most likely tomorrow morning. So again, make sure that you have that in mind. Keep you updated with the latest. And I'm about to make a video forecast literally right after the stream ends for tomorrow morning. So we'll have that out by about 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow, probably. Keep a close eye out on that. Any chance of lake effect snow in Toledo, Ohio? No. Not that far east. Might get like a flurry, but it wouldn't be like actual accumulation or any cumulative snow there. Julie, no, actually New England. From New England originally. The Northeast. Not Ohio. Not Ohio. Maybe it's a plot twist. Maybe I was in Ohio. I don't know. Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, I'll show that real quick. 3 to 5 inches, grand for Missouri. Oh, I'm actually showing it right now. There's Missouri. If you need to, just pause the screen. I need to find where the other one was. Let me just go and do this. So this is the current estimation for Wisconsin. Probably a good chunk of the state will see somewhere between probably 4 to 8 inches, if not maybe a little bit higher than that. No problem, Rand. Have a great night, Cynthia. Again, I appreciate you becoming a member tonight. Really do. Appreciate you becoming a Storm Chaser member. Have a great night. By the way, if you've not already and you're in the chat, make sure to join our Discord server. You can join our community off the stream. Link will be in the chat from Nightbot. So if you have Discord, join our Discord server, and you can interact with us off the stream and also ask questions there. So excited for snow. I would be excited if it was 1 to 3 inches. Anything more than that or less than that is just either underwhelming or overwhelming. So that's kind of my range. Any new models? I don't think so. I think they're all pretty updated right now. HRR model, I think the new run is in an hour. Or actually, it's in the next, I think, 30 minutes, but nothing new right now. Alrighty, we've been live for 2 hours, so I'm going to end it there. I do appreciate everybody tuning in, as always. It's been a long stream. Really not really that long, but it's been a long discussion stream for sure. I typically don't do discussion sort of forecast for that long, but I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Before you leave, again, just a friendly reminder, hit the like button down below before you leave if you've enjoyed this stream and the content here. Also, make sure to subscribe down below. Click the red little button there so you subscribe. I really do appreciate if you do subscribe if you've not already. Also, click the bell icon, that little bell, and click all so you get notified when I go live and when I post accurate weather forecasts here on YouTube. I'll have another forecast tomorrow morning for you, so keep a close eye out on that. It'll probably be sometime around 9 a.m., I would say. Maybe a little earlier or later, I don't know. But it'll probably be right around 9 a.m., so make sure watch that. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great, safe rest of your night. Stay warm, by the way. It's going to be cold out there for the next several days, so stay warm. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys all again soon. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And also, thank you for the super chats, the 4 new members as well tonight. Really do appreciate the support a lot. And yeah, again, have a great night. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments on this video or live stream or whatever. And I'll try to get back to them if I can, if I've not already answered them. Have a great night, guys, and we'll see you guys.